This is Wade Hoyt along with Bob Wolf, welcoming you to the fifth game of the 1961 World Series.
Brought to you by Gillette, maker of the 195 adjustable razor and the remarkable Super Blue blade that gives all but unbelievable shaving comfort. Foamy, the cream of all instant lathers. And Right Guard, the new power spray deodorant for men.
And Chrysler Corporation, where engineering puts something extra into every car. Chrysler Corporation with the live new cars for 62.
In appreciation of your continued support, Gillette and Chrysler bring you the All-Star Baseball games and the 1962 Rose Bowl game exclusively on NBC. Well, win or lose, the city of Cincinnati will witness its last 1961 World Series game with the unfolding of today's drama here at Crosley Field in Cincinnati. Of course, if the Reds can return a victory today to the loyal and intense fans of Cincinnati, the struggle would be continued Wednesday at New York. But to use football parlance in a baseball broadcast, the Cincinnati Reds are making their goal line stand today, for a defeat by the New York Yankees would end the 61 series in 5 games. Today's pitchers, Joey J., the lone winner so far for the Reds, and Ralph Terry, the Yankee pitcher, who started the second game and the only one so far to suffer a defeat. Jay's victory was a 6-2 4-hit affair over the Yankees, and Terry in the second game at the Yankee Stadium. What will October the 9th, 1961 produce? This broadcast is authorized under broadcasting rights granted by the Commissioner of Baseball solely for the entertainment of our listening audience, and any publication, rebroadcast, or other use of the descriptions and accounts of this game without the express consent of the Commissioner is prohibited. Well, the first news of the day is that Yogi Berra cannot play as he injured his right shoulder sliding into third base yesterday, and Mickey Mantle's hip is still so aggravated that he cannot play. So the Yankees are minus 2 of their most potent batters and 2 of their most brilliant ball players as they go into today's ball game. Berra with a bad right shoulder, Mantle still with that aggravated hip. Manager Freddie Hutchinson will be going with his ace right-hander for the second time. Joey J. of Lutz, Florida will be the pivot man for the Reds, for around him hope swirls in heady expectation. A defeat for the Reds today and it's all over. Ralph Terry, of course, wants a victory very badly. In World Series efforts, Terry has been beaten 3 times, and as yet the Chelsea, Oklahoma right-hander has not gained the thrill of victory. Cincinnati fans as well as Yankee fans are still talking about Whitey Ford's record-breaking pitching of yesterday and the Reds' second shutout as Ford and Coates divided the whitewash. Ford pitched 5 innings, a little beyond the required time, to set the all-time consecutive scoreless inning record of 32. One time held by Babe Ruth at 29 2/3 innings. Ford's is the left-handed pitching wizard of 1962 and stands as the unscalable barrier to whatever chances remain for the Reds. The National League champions are now faced with the necessity of winning 3 straight games, including the requirement of defeating Ford in the 7th game if the series gets that far. Ford will lose sometime, the Reds say, and they hope to get another crack at Whitey. Ford was spiked by Robinson in the top of the 6th inning and forced to retire. The Cincinnati Reds, however, cannot be sold short. Admittedly, their task is what may be termed in the slang of the day as strictly far out, but the Reds have been down before. At one point this season, the Cubs powdered the Reds by scoring 46 runs in 4 straight games, with the Reds playing worse than schoolboys. Whereupon they left Chicago, won 3 out of 4 in Milwaukee, and not much later took 5 out of 6 from San Francisco and Los Angeles. So their pattern has been one of unpredictable comeback. Cincinnati has been written off a dozen times last summer, but here they are in the World Series. And other than yesterday, they played fine baseball, and until yesterday, they actually led the Yankees in total runs scored and total hits made, and in almost everything but power and home runs. But yesterday, the Yankees grabbed the lead in total runs with 14 for 4 games and 27 hits for 4 games. The Reds' totals are 8 runs and 24 hits over the same 4 contests. In the 4 games, the Reds have made but 1 error. The Yankees have made 4 miscues. The Reds have had 7 double plays, and the Yankees have had 1. Gillette has been asked to bring you the following public service message. Now more than ever, United States savings bonds strengthen America's power abroad and our economy at home. And they help you, the buyer, too. They help you build financial security. They help you reach important goals like buying a home, sending the children to college, retiring someday. And today, interest rates on U.S. bonds are the best ever. So sign up at work for the automatic payroll savings plan or make regular bond purchases at the bank. Own a share in America with United States savings bonds. Well, just to the folks in Canada, I want to say a very happy Thanksgiving to all folks in Canada, as it is the Canadian Thanksgiving Day. And many happy returns of the day, I should say to you all. Continuing on with a little pregame review. You know, Whitey Ford's scoreless inning record of 32 consecutive scoreless frames is one of two records made so far in this series by the actual manipulation of a bat, an arm, or a leg. In short, actual play. The other is Ford's most strikeouts in total series, or 70. The other records being broken are smashed because of protracted participation in World Series play, such as Ford's now being the only series pitcher to pitch in 8 World Series. The most games started by a pitcher 16, the most pitching victories 9. Every Yankee regular has at least one hit, and 5 different Yankees have had home runs. Howard, Skowron, Berra, Blanchard, and Maris. Other than home runs, the only Yankee extra base hits have been 4 doubles, 2 by Howard and 1 each by Boyer and Richardson. The Reds have had but 1 home run, that one by Coleman with a man on second, and rather I should say a man on in the second game. The Reds have had 6 doubles, Robinson 1, Edwards 2, and Cardenas 1. Pinson 1 and Post 1. Bobby Richardson of the Yankees has the most hits, 8 hits in 17 turns at bat. Gene Freese, sadly for the Reds, and Gene himself, is the one regular so far who has not broken into the hit column. Gene has gone 0 for 12. But other batters of prominence have suffered too. Robinson of the Reds has but 1 hit in 11 turns, although Robbie was hit twice yesterday and has 3 bases on balls, and once he was on through an error. Vader Pinson, the National League's runner-up for the batting title, who batted .343 during the season, has had but 1 hit in 17 times at bat. On the Yankee side, Maris, game-winning home run Saturday, took the sting out of that statistic. The Yankee home run champion has had but 1 hit, that 1 game-winning home run in 14 turns at the plate. Boyer has had but 2 for 10, Kubek 3 for 16, Howard 3 for 15. And so now the Reds are on the goal line. They must hold the goal line today or lose the series. And now Miss Cindy Grogg will sing the national anthem. Cindy Grogg singing the national anthem with the band conducted by Barney Rapp. The fifth game of the 1961 World Series is being brought to you from Crosley Field in Cincinnati. The last series to end in 5 games was in 1949 when the New York Yankees beat the Brooklyn Dodgers. You can read about that series and every series ever played in the Gillette World Series Encyclopedia, a handy pocketbook containing the complete text of the new $5 World Series Encyclopedia. Its 256 pages are loaded with lively reading, humorous cartoons, and every significant World Series record. This Gillette Encyclopedia is yours free when you buy the $1.95 Gillette adjustable razor set at the regular price of $1.95. The adjustable is the razor that lets you dial the setting from 1 to 9. A setting just right for you. With it comes those remarkable super blue blades for amazingly clean and easy shaves. That's the deal. Free World Series Encyclopedia, Gillette adjustable razor, and super blue blades, all for the price of the razor set alone, $1.95. And here are the lineups. The Cincinnati Reds, Blasingame back in the game, playing at second base, leading off. Eddie Casco at shortstop, batting second. Veda Pinson in center field, batting third. Frankie Robinson in right field, batting fourth. Gordy Coleman at first base, batting fifth. Wally Post in left field, hitting sixth. Gene Freese at third base, batting seventh. Johnny Edwards catching, batting eighth. And Joey J is just on his way to the pitcher's mound. For the Yankees, the first man coming out of the Yankee bench, Bobby Richardson, the leadoff batter, who will play at second base. Tony Kubek, the shortstop, batting second. Roger Maris, the center fielder. Maris in center field, batting third. Johnny Blanchard, the right fielder, batting fourth. Blanchard in right field, batting fourth, as Berra and Mantle are out of the game today. Elston Howard, catching, is batting fifth. Bill Skowron at first base, batting sixth. Hector Lopez in left field, batting seventh. Ken Boyer, the third baseman, batting eighth, and Ralph Terry, the right-hander, will do the pitching. Joey J has won 1 game in the series and lost none. Terry, who opposed him in that same game, has won none and lost 1. And so now we have the very distinct pleasure and privilege of turning the microphone over to the very fine broadcaster for the Minnesota Twins, Bob Wolf.
Thank you, Wade Hoyt. Hi, everybody. Beautiful afternoon for this afternoon's ball game. And leading off will be Bobby Richardson for the New York Yankees. Blue skies overhead, temperatures in the high 70s. Very slight breeze is blowing out from home plate. And Bobby Richardson, who is hitting .471 and has 8 hits in the first 4 series games, is coming up. The record for hits in a 4-game series is 10, set by Babe Ruth in 1928. But the record for hits in a 5-game series is 9. Shared by Home Run Baker of the A's twice in 1910 and 1913, Eddie Collins of the A's in 1910, Heine Grove of the Giants in 22, and Joe Moore of the Giants in 37. So Richardson is 1 away from tying that record as he steps in. Joey J, all set to work. Here's the windup of the right-hander, and the first pitch is over for a called strike by plate umpire Ed Runge of the American League. Jocko Conlon of the National League is at first. Frank Umont of the American League at second. Augie Donatelli of the National League at third. Shag Crawford along the left field line. Bob Stewart along the right field line. The pitch swung on, and there's a base hit. Bobby Richardson with a liner to left center field. Being fielded by Pinson, the throw comes into Casco, and now over to Blasingame. Richardson is on with a single to left center field, a liner between Casco and second base. So Bobby Richardson, with his 9th hit in a 5-game series, has now tied that World Series record, and has a chance during this game to set a brand new World Series mark. Tony Kubek is hitting .188. A left-handed batter steps in now to face Joey J with Richardson on first and nobody out. All set to work, a look toward the runner. Here's the pitch, and it is foul back below us for strike 1. Strike 1 to Tony Kubek. Richardson on first, and Roger Maris is on deck. Third baseman Gene Freese has moved in just a bit, just off the infield grass at third. The outfield playing just slightly around toward right, not too much. Here's the pitch coming up, and it's wide at the plate. And the count now is 1-1. Batter is Tony Kubek. Roger Maris batting third. And in the number 4 slot this afternoon for the New York Yankees, John Blanchard, who is playing right field. Beautiful sunny day. Bobby Richardson, the leading Yankee hitter in the series. He had 11 hits in last year's World Series. The pitch on the way. Swung on. There's a fly ball going out to center field. Pinson is going back. He's near the fence. He's waiting now and has it. Up on the embankment in center, slightly to right center field, and within 10 feet of the fence there. So Kubek is along out number 1. Richardson is back at first base, and here is Roger Maris, who is hitting .071. Roger Maris steps in for the New York Yankees. He has one game-winning homer in the series, and that is his only hit so far, 1 for 14, and 1 RBI, but it was a big one. The heralded left-handed batter in and waiting. Richardson on first. There's one away. The pitch is inside and low. As Maris started to move for it, held back. And the count now is ball 1 to Maris. Johnny Blanchard is on deck. Bobby Richardson at first base. So far, he has the only stolen base in the series. Came in the third game. Maris waits for the pitch. Here it is, and there's a ground foul outside of first base, picked up by first base coach Wally Moses. Incidentally, if the series is not prolonged beyond this game, and if that stolen base by Richardson stands up as the only one during this set, this will tie a World Series record for fewest stolen bases by both clubs in a 5-game series. But we anticipate plenty of action on the bases this afternoon, so let's see what develops. A look toward the runner to Richardson. Here's the pitch on the way, and there's a fly ball going out to right field. Robinson moves in a bit for it. He's under it now, and the right fielder takes it for the out. So there are 2 down, Richardson on first, and the batter is John Blanchard, who is hitting .167. You know, just before the ball game, I was speaking to John, and I said, Johnny, have you ever batted cleanup before for the New York Yankees? And he said, let me ask you, am I batting cleanup today? And I said, here's the scorecard. He took a peek and a big smile came up over his face. He said, I've only done it once before, Bob, and that was in the game right after the Yankees clinched the pennant at Baltimore. Blanchard, left-handed batter, at the plate. He's been a clutch hitter for New York. There's a lob throw over to first base. So Blanchard, just once in 3 years, has batted in the number 4 slot for New York. And now in the World Series, he's up there, and the pitch comes in wide for a ball. But he has been a big man for New York during the course of this season. He's had a pinch hit home run in the series. He hit 4 pinch hit homers during the regular season, and he won or tied 7 games for the Yankees with home runs. A constant threat. Counters ball 1 to Blanchard. Richardson is on first, and they're 2 away. We're in the top of the first inning. Bright, sunny skies here in Cincinnati. Now here's the sign from Edwards. Jay all set to work. There's the stretch and the pause by Jay. And a quick throw to first base, and it goes by Coleman. Richardson is on the way to second base and goes in at second. Richardson is advanced into scoring position as we await the official scorer's ruling on who will be charged with the error. The error is charged on Coleman as that ball went through him off his glove and rolled outside the right field line. The official scorers for the series, Earl Lawson of the Cincinnati Post and Time-Star, Ken Smith of the New York Mirror, and Ed Rummel of the Christian Science Monitor. Richardson edges away from second base. There are 2 down. Jay takes a look back toward second as he pauses belt high, and then comes in with the pitch. It is swung on. There's a fly ball going out to deep right field. Robinson turns. He's going back. He's near the fence. He looks up. It's a home run. Johnny Blanchard comes up with a big home run, his second of the series, as he drives in Bobby Richardson. And the Yankees now lead by a score of 2-0. Into the right field seats. Richardson is now tied for high in RBIs in the series with 3 altogether, tying Yogi Berra. Blanchard is tied for high as Richardson scored in front of him. Elston Howard now steps up, swings, sends a fly ball out to deep left center field. Back goes Post. He's looking up at the scoreboard. It hits and went through the scoreboard for a ground rule double. Well, there's an oddity. It hit up on the scoreboard and disappeared through it, and a chip of the scoreboard came down as Post and Pinson converged. And that ball's on the other side of the fence through the scoreboard for a ground rule double. Hit about halfway up. As Elston Howard came up hitting 200 and has a ground rule double through the scoreboard in left center field. And now the bullpen of the Reds gets busy. Maloney starts warming up. Here's Bill Skowron hitting .333. The score of the ball game is 2-0. The New York Yankees lead. Howard is on second base, and Skowron hitting .333 the batter. There are 2 outs in the top of the first inning. Here's the pitch, and it's inside for a ball. In this inning, Richardson led off with a base hit. Kubek and Maris went out on flyouts. Richardson moved to second on an error by Coleman on a throw from Jay. Blanchard with a 2-run homer in the right field seats made it 2-0 in front of for the New York Yankees. And Howard has laced a 2-bagger to left. Skowron waits. The pitch swung on. There's a long drive which is curving, and it curves foul into the screen outside the left field foul line. As Skowron unlimbered one which was long enough for a home run but fouled. Pitch coming up now. Here it is. Bill swings as a drive to deep center field. Pinson goes back. He's near the fence, still backing. Over his head, it hits the fence and rebounds far back into the outfield. Picked up by Robinson as Howard comes around third and scores easily. Bill Skowron, as he made the turn at first base, tripped and had to be content with a single on that one. Wally Moses, the first base coach, is looking at him. Looked like he may have hurt his left arm just a bit. And there goes Freddie Hutchinson out to the mound as Skowron has a long single over Pinson's head up against the center field wall. That wall of cement. The ball rebounded about 75 feet back in toward the infield, and Robinson picked the ball up there as Howard scored. That will be all for Joey J as Maloney is coming in to relieve. Bill Skowron with a line single to center field, and he stumbled as he made the turn at first base and was content with a single. Joey J gets a nice hand as he leaves the ball game on this top of the first inning. So the Yankees now lead by a score of 3-0. They've had 4 hits. The Reds have committed 1 error. As Joey J, who did so much this year to help the Cincinnati Reds to their pennant with 21 victories this past season and but 10 losses, and 1 World Series victory in this series against New York, has now left the ball game. And Hector Lopez will be greeting the new pitcher, Jim Maloney, a right-hander who has now taken over at the mound. Well, the Yankees' long ball power, heralded this season and in years past, has exploded here in this first inning. And for those of you who may have missed the early doings and scoring, here is what has taken place. Richardson led off with a base hit, his 9th World Series hit. After Kubek flied out to center field and Maris to right, Richardson moved on to second as Joey J tried to pick him off first. The ball went through Coleman. Richardson reached second. And then Johnny Blanchard stepped up for the New York Yankees. And Blanchard, who this past season had 21 homers and a .305 batting average, came up with his second World Series home run, batting in the cleanup role, into the right field seat, scoring Richardson. Then Howard sent a liner which went through one of those apertures in the scoreboard out there in left center field for a ground rule double, and Scarlin then came up and blistered a line drive off the cement wall in center for a long single, scoring Howard and removing Jay. Maloney is all set to work now as Hector Lopez, hitting .200, comes up with a score 3-0 in favor of the New York Yankees. Lopez, a .200 batting average, has 2 RBIs in the series, a right-handed batter. He takes high from Maloney for ball 1. Optimistically, just a few moments ago in the press box, the announcement was made the pitches in the next game would be Perky against Stafford. So the Reds in the press box, and certainly those in the stands, are still looking very optimistically toward the future. Here's the pitch, and Boyer swings as a long drive to deep left center field, heading out toward the scoreboard, hits up against the scoreboard. Coming in to score is Lopez. Here's a throw to second, and it's a 2-base hit for Boyer as he slides in, beating the throw. Taken by Blassingame. Boyer with a double up against the scoreboard in left center field. Lopez scoring, and that brings up Ralph Terry, who has not thrown a pitch as yet, but still has a 5-0 lead. The Yankees are putting on a most impressive batting demonstration this afternoon. Here in this first inning, they have had a homer, a triple, 2 doubles, and 2 singles. And the pitcher, Ralph Terry, now steps up with Boyer on second. The Yankees have scored 5 runs. So Terry now steps in. Jim Maloney, all set to work. There's a look back toward Boyer on second. The pitch comes in low for a ball. The remarkable thing about the Yankees, not only the power of their starting lineup, but the power of their reserves. As we have seen right here this afternoon, Blanchard playing right field with a 2-run homer. Lopez in left with a 3-base hit. There's a pitch coming in low for a ball, ball 2. Ball 2 to Ralph Terry. Jim Maloney on the mound. As the stretch and the pause by Maloney. The pitch on the way is over for a called strike. Count now is 2 balls and a strike. Two and 1 to Ralph Terry. Boyer takes his lead off second. Score of the ball game, New York 5 and the Reds nothing. Terry is a pretty fair hitter, although he has no series hits to his credit. Here's the pitch coming up. He swings and misses, and the count now is 2 and 2. Terry is trying to crash the World Series victory column after pitching twice against Pittsburgh in 1960, once this series, and at present has an 0-3 record. Jim Maloney this past year had a 6-7 record for Cincinnati. Right-hander set to work. The count now is 2 and 2 to Terry. As a look back toward second to Boyer, taking a big lead off second. The pitch swung on and missed, and Terry is on the strikeout to retire the side. 9 men batting for New York in the top of inning number 1, with the total showing 5 runs for the Yankees, 6 hits, 1 error, and 1 man is left. The score after 1 half inning of play. New York 5 and the Reds are coming up.
For the cool, refreshing lift you crave, try a Gillette foamy shave. Shave and cool and shave and wet. Beat any kind of shaving yet. Shave Gillette.
Foamy's fast, all right, and how it refreshes. Just touch the nozzle on the foamy container. Rich, creamy lather billows out. Lather that holds oceans of moisture against your beard. And this full-bodied lather stays moist right through the whole shave. What's more, Foamy contains K34, the antiseptic that destroys harmful bacteria. No wonder more men are switching to Foamy than any other instant lather. Give yourself a refreshing lift. Try yourself a Gillette Foamy shave. Foamy, either regular or with cooling menthol added, costs only 79 cents. Or save money on the giant economy size. Holds almost twice as much. Costs just 98 cents. Ralph Terry takes the mound. It will be Don Blasingame, Eddie Casco, and Veda Pinson coming up. We're in the bottom half of the first inning now, with the Yankees holding a 5-0 lead, with an awesome display of power in the top of the first inning. A home run by Johnny Blanchard with Richardson, who had singled on base. A double by Howard, a single by Skowron, a triple by Lopez, and a double by Boyer. And now, as we move to the bottom of the first, here is Don Blasingame leading off. Blasingame has no World Series hits. Left-handed batter, and the first pitch comes in low for a ball. Ralph Terry on the mound, right-hander. Blasingame this past season hit for a .222 average. He takes a called strike. He is 0 for 3 in the World Series so far. Count now is 1-1. Terry this past season at a 16-3 mark for the Yankees with a 3.14 earned run average. Here's the 1-1 pitch and a bunt right back to Terry. They throw to first for the out. So there's one down in the bottom half of the first inning as Eddie Casco comes up. Casco has played a fine defensive game for the Reds in the series and is swatting .294. He's a very versatile fellow. He can play other positions in the infield beside shortstop. Casco steps in, right-handed batter. He swings and sends a base hit to left field. Lopez comes in to field it, and Casco is on with a single. That brings up Veda Pinson, who is hitting .059. Veda Pinson, the .343 average this past year. 16 homers, left-handed batter. In the series, he's 1 for 17. Casco on first. The pitch comes in low for a ball. Well, we've seen the Yankees break loose in the top of the first. They scored 5 runs. And the question now is, can the Reds break loose this afternoon? And incidentally, all those runs came over after there were 2 away. Casco takes his lead at first base. The pitch, Pinson swings and pops one high in the air. Converging near the mound, Boyer, and he has it. Skowron came over along with Richardson, but Boyer made the grab. So Pinson is out number 2. And the batter is Frank Robinson, whose series batting average is .091. Robinson also did so much to help the Reds to the pennant, with 37 homers, 124 runs batted in. In the series, he is 1 for 11, but he has been on base a considerable number of times. The pitch, and there's a high fly ball to left field, not deep. Lopez is coming in, calling for it, and has it. So that retires the side. And at the bottom of inning number 1, there are no runs, 1 hit, no errors, and 1 left. And the score at the end of 1 full inning, New York 5 and the Reds nothing.
Friends, they're killing Lavagettos. They are beaten into pieces.
That's what happened back in 1947 when Cookie Lavagetto busted up Bill Bevan's try for a series no-hitter. Let's hear the actual play-by-play.
Both out of the lawn with walk. No hits by Bevins. 2 out last of the night. The pitch swung on. There's a drive down toward the right field corner. Henrik is going back. He can't get it. It's off the wall for a base hit. Here comes the tying run, and here comes the winning run.
Unforgettable. These World Series thrills are yours to relive when you leaf through the new Gillette World Series Encyclopedia. Yours free with the purchase of the Gillette Adjustable Razor Set for only $1.95. This 256-page Gillette pocketbook is crammed with lively reading, humorous cartoons, and practically every series fact and record. You get it free with the Gillette Adjustable Razor and a dispenser of those wonderfully easy-shaving Super Blue Blades for the price of the razor set alone, just $1.95.
We pause for station identification.
Enjoying the game? You'll enjoy it more with Saratoga Vichy. Make sure you're mixing with the best. Saratoga Vichy. 810 on your dial, WGY Schenectady.
The Yankees held a lead of 5-0, and the first pitch to Barry Richardson is in the dirt for ball one from Jim Maloney. Richardson singled last time up. Later came around to score on Blanchard's two-run homer. Maloney's pitch on the way. Swung on. There's a fly ball going out to right center field. Robinson moves under it. He's waiting now. He has it. One away in the top of the second. On the batter now is Tony Kubek, who's been up once and flied out to center field. Yankees scored their 5 runs when 2 were away in the top of the first inning. They came up after 2 were out with 5 successive hits. Earlier, Richardson provided the 6th hit, leading off the game. Pitch to Kubek. Swung on and fouled outside of first for strike 1. Those 5 hits for New York after 2 were away, provided by Blanchard, Howard, Skowron, Lopez, and Boyer. 5-0, the Yankees lead. Kubek the batter. The count now is strike 1. 1 away. We're in the top of the second of this 5th game here in Crosley Field. The pitch is wide, and the count now is 1-1. Can a team come back to win a World Series after winning 1 game and losing 3? It's been done only twice in a best-of-7 series. Pittsburgh did it against Washington in 1925. The Yankees did it against Milwaukee in 1958. Here's the 1-1 pitch to Kubek. And there is a base hit as Kubek puts one in the hole to left field. Picked up by Wally Post. He makes a throw into second base. Kubek lashed a low liner, which hit in the infield dirt out of the reach of Casco and skipped on into left. As Kubek is on with a single, and the batter now is Roger Maris. Hit number 7 for the New York Yankees. And these hits now have been pretty well distributed right throughout the batting order. The only ones who have not shared so far, Maris, who is up there now, and Ralph Terry, the pitcher. Maris has been up once and he has flied out. The pitch is a called strike. The Reds again get the bullpen busy. Ken Johnson again comes out to start warming up. Roger Maris at the plate. Maris has hit 4 balls beyond the infield during the entire series, but one of them, that 9th inning homer, won the 3rd game on Saturday. And his presence has certainly placed increased pressure on the Reds pitching staff. Here's the pitch. And there's a ball sliced out to short left field. The line is dropping, and it drops fair. Inside the line in short left field. Kubek is rounding third. He's being waved in, and he scores. Grote comes in, cut off by Freese at third. Into second base, it's Roger Maris with a double sliced into short left field, just feet inside the line. So Tony Kubek is now across the plate as Maris has his 2nd RBI. The Yankees add another double to the display of power that they've been putting on this afternoon, although this ball was sliced out into short left field. And here is Blanchard, who had a 2-run homer back in the 1st inning. The pitch is ball 1. That's run number 6 posted for the New York Yankees, who now have had 6 runs and 8 hits. And with just an inning and a third, everybody in the Yankee batting order is now hit safely, with the exception of pitcher Ralph Terry. Ken Johnson warming up for Cincinnati. 1 out. Blanchard the batter. It's the stretch and the pause by Maloney. The pitch comes in low for a ball. Ball 2. Blanchard's last 2 hits in the World Series have both been home runs. Here comes the pitch, and it's a called strike. Blanchard is used to getting those homers in succession. He tied a major league record this year by hitting home runs in 4 consecutive times at bat over a 3-game span. 2 of the homers came in pinch hitting assignments. So when the mood comes over John, he usually responds with those long balls. 2-1 the count to Blanchard. Maris on second. There's one away. Here's the pitch, and there's a swing and a miss. Count is now 2-2. Last year in the World Series, Blanchard pinch hit 3 times. He caught in 2 other games. And altogether, he batted .455 with 2 doubles included among his 5 hits. Here's the pitch coming up. And there's a ground foul outside of first base, snared by Coleman as he moves across the line. Count holds at 2-2 to Johnny Blanchard, who comes from Minneapolis. Played in just 93 games this past year for the New York Yankees, but hit over 300, 305. Of course, he's a combination catcher outfielder. So Blanchard waits with a 2-2 count. Maris on second, there's one away. New York leads by a 6-0 score. The pitch from Maloney. A fastball is low. It's blocked by Edwards as it hit the dirt. On the count now is 3-2 to Blanchard with Elston Howard on deck. Johnson warming up for the Reds. And this crowd here in Cincinnati has been understandably quiet during the Yankee barrage. Reds saving up their voices, the Reds fans, for when their team comes up, hoping to get back and start perking up against New York. 3-2 pitch coming up to Blanchard. As a look back to the runner, and the pitch on the way is high. As Blanchard draws a walk, puts men now on first and second, and that brings up Elston Howard, who lined one through one of the openings on the scoreboard in left center. That scoreboard sticks up, 55 feet, way above that 18-foot wall. And there's Freddie Hutchinson, who again is moving out to the mound. And that will be all for Maloney, who will be the second Reds pitcher to leave the ball game, as the change is being made at this point. So Johnson now moves on the scene. Ken Johnson now moves on the scene to take over the pitching duties, and he is the 3rd pitcher to see action for Cincinnati, coming in here in the second. Coming in with an inning and a third of the ball game having gone by, and the Yankees leading with 6 runs and 8 hits. As Maloney gets a nice round of applause as he leaves, Johnson now is coming up to see if he can put out this fire that the Yankees have ignited. Johnson is one of the fine comeback stories in baseball. There are many. He's 28 years old, 6'4", 200 pounds, and a right-hander all the way. Among his pitches, a fine knuckleball. This past season for the Reds, he had 6 wins and 2 defeats and a 3.25 earned run average. He was one of Freddie Hutchinson's major reclamation projects. He was purchased by the Reds from Toronto last July. He proceeded to win 6 games, equaling his total of victories in 3 previous tries with the American League Kansas City team. He attended the University of South Carolina for 1 year. So Ken Johnson is on the mound now, taking his warm-ups, and Elston Howard will be coming up to face him. Score of the ball game: Yankees 5, Yankees 6, and the Reds nothing. As the Yankees scored 5 in the first and 1 here in the second. And the inning is not yet over. Maris is on second, Blanchard is on first, and there's one away. The 6th run in the second inning was scored by Tony Kubek, who came around on Maris's 2-base hit after Kubek had singled. So we're all set to go as Howard, who is a ground rule double, steps in. The infield double play depth for Cincinnati, and the pitch is a called strike on the outside corner for strike 1 to Elston Howard. Howard has nothing but extra base hits in this series, and he has 4 of them. Waiting now with a 1-strike count. Here's the next pitch, Skowron swings, sends a fly ball to deep center field. Pinson is going back. He's up against the fence and has it just a foot or so from the fence, high up on the embankment, near the 383-foot mark. Skowron flying deep to Pinson to retire the side. He took it way up in the embankment, just a foot away or so from the wall. So the side retired. And in this inning, the Yankees have a run. There were 2 hits, and 2 were left on base. The score at the end of an inning and a half: Yankees 6, Reds nothing.
Paper-mate credit card contest winners now leaving for London, Paris, and other world-famous cities.
How would you like to fly anywhere, stay anywhere, dine anywhere, and just sign for it? Never get a bill. Well, the world is yours if you win the Papermate $50,000 credit card contest. You'll fly the finest on TWA Superjets and just sign for it using your TWA Air Travel Card. You'll stay at luxury hotels like the Royal Hawaiian in Honolulu, dine at famous restaurants in Paris or Rome, and just sign for it using your Diners Club card. You'll have a car when you want it with your Hertz Rent-A-Car card, gas when you need it with your Shell credit card. When it's time to pay, just pull out your Papermate pen and sign for it. Never get a bill. Grand prize is $10,000 in credit or cash, 500 other prizes. Get entry blanks and full contest details now, wherever Papermate pens are sold.
Bob Wolf with Wade Hoyt here in Cincinnati, where the Reds trail by a score of 6-0 as they come up on the bottom half of the second to face Ralph Terry. Gordy Coleman will lead off. Coleman is hitting .250. Bill Henry is now warming up for Cincinnati. Coleman has gone 1 for 8 against New York southpaw pitching, but he is 3 for 8 against the Yankee right-handers Terry and Stafford, and one of his hits off the righties being Cincinnati's only homer of the series. Left-handed batter, he's up there now. He swings and fouls one off to the left. Gordy Coleman at the plate. Coleman will be followed by Post and Freeze. Terry winds. Here's the pitch, and it comes in high for a ball. Terry throws a lot of breaking stuffs. He likes to change speeds, and has a good fastball to go along with it. He's 25 years old. Had a great winning percentage in the American League this past season. Was the best in the league for a right-handed pitcher. .842. The pitch on the way. Swung on and fouled back. Ball 1, strike 2. The only right-handers who topped him in victories were Frank Lowry and Jim Bunning of Detroit. This is his second World Series. Terry all set to work. He's 6'3", 190 pounds. The pitch coming up to Coleman. Swung on, and there's a ground ball going out to Skowron. Terry goes over to cover for the out. Skowron to Terry. 1 away in the bottom half inning number 2. On the batter now is Wally Post, who is hitting .267. Wally, a long ball hitter. No homers, no RBIs as yet in this World Series. Score is 6-0. Yankees scored 5 runs in the first inning and added 1 more in the second. And now Wally Post steps in with 1 out. And the first pitch is slammed to left. In there for a base hit. Lopez plays it on the hop. Makes a throw to second base, and Wally Post is on with a line single to left field. Hit number 2 for the Reds. Here's Gene Freeze looking for his first World Series hit. Gets a nice hand with a great defensive play that he made on Elston Howard. So Gene Freeze steps in. Yesterday put on quite a demonstration of pulling balls foul here, which kept the crowd on tenterhooks. The pitch swung on and popped high in the air to very short center field. Kubek is going back, coming in as Maris. Maris calls, and the center fielder has it just about 20 feet back on the outfield grass behind second base. So Freeze is out number 2, and the batter now is Johnny Edwards, hitting .375. You know, the Reds catching staff, whose defensive play was emphasized during the season, has provided them with some of their lustier hitting in the series. Darrell Johnson is 2 for 4, a .500 percentage, while Johnny Edwards has connected for 3 for 7. His batting average should be .429. And Jerry Zimmerman, the third Cincy catcher, has appeared only defensively in 2 games. So it's Johnny Edwards up there now with 2 outs, post on first, and there's a base hit on the ground to the right of Richardson, being fielded by Maris. Throw comes into second base. Wally Post moving to third on the base hit as Edwards comes up with a ground single in between Richardson and second base. Wally Post moving to third on Edwards' base hit, and Gus Bell is coming up to bat for Ken Johnson. Now on first and third for the Cincinnati Reds as Gus Bell now steps in. Gus Bell coming up as a pinch hitter. Left-handed batter, .255 during the regular season. And the Yankee bullpen now gets busy. Here's the pitch coming up to Bell. He takes a called strike. New York is holding a 6-0 lead. Henry is warming up for the Reds. Wally Post, who had hit number 2 for the Reds, came up with a single in this inning with 1 away, and after 2 are out, Edwards lashed a base hit to right center, moving Post to third. The pitch to Bell. Swung on and popped up foul. Elston Howard is coming back, still moving. He's near the screen, and he has it. So Bell is out to retire the side with the total showing. No runs, 2 hits, no errors, and 2 are left. And the score at the end of 2 full innings of play. New York 6 and Cincinnati nothing. The Yankees, are trying for their 19th World Championship today. And going into the series, they hold the record with 18, according to the Gillette World Series Encyclopedia. Boy, this book contains just about everything that you might want to know about the series. There are line scores of every series game and game-by-game highlights, lifetime statistics of every series player, and there's lots more. And this book is free with the Gillette adjustable razor. Now, how about that? The adjustable, is the razor you dial to 1 of 9 settings that's just right for your skin and beard. With it comes a dispenser of those remarkable Super Blue Blades for all but unbelievable shaving comfort. Get the whole deal for only $1.95. The Gillette adjustable Super Blue Blades in your free pocketbook World Series Encyclopedia. As we move into the third inning now, Bill Henry is on the mound for Cincinnati, and Daly and Renniff, who were warming up briefly for the Yankees, have gone back to sit down. We pause 30 seconds for station identification.
Are you mixing with the best? Saratoga Vichy with the yellow label, it outsells all the rest. The genuine Vichy with the yellow label tastes better tonight, feel better tomorrow. Saratoga with the yellow label.
It's a hit in any man's league. That's Saratoga Vichy. Look for the yellow label that marks the champion, Saratoga Vichy. WGY 810 on your dial, Schenectady.
For a called strike. Lopez tripled last time up. He leads off the third. The score is 6-0 in favor of New York. Here it comes. And there's a foul back out of play. Ball strike 2. 2 strikes to Hector Lopez, be followed by Boyer and Terry. Bill Henry, southpaw on the mound. He is the 4th Reds pitcher to see action as the third inning is now underway. Preceded by Jay, who started the ball game, Maloney and Johnson. Now we're set as Lopez digs in with a 2-strike count. The pitch coming up is a foul as Lopez was set to swing that time. He checked his swing and the ball came in and slid off his bat. A curveball broke right in on the handle and slid it away for foul ball. So it's strike 2 still to Lopez. 2 strikes to Lopez. We're in the 3rd inning. Henry all set to work. Southpaw dips low in the windup. Here comes the pitch, and it is high for a ball. Just missed that time. Ball 1, strike 2. Lopez now hitting .333 in this World Series. The Yankees in this game have had a 2-run homer. They've come up with 3 doubles, and they've come up with a 3-base hit, plus 3 singles. The pitch, there's a foul off to the right, and this one is going toward the seats, and the count holds at ball 1, strike 2. 8 hits altogether for the New York Yankees, and the Reds have had 3. The Reds got a man as far as 3rd in the 2nd. No member of the Reds was able to get past 2nd against Ford or Coates yesterday. As a matter of fact, in both of Whitey's appearances, no Reds runner got past 2nd. But nobody came in to score. Now Lopez waits for the count of 1 and 2. Here's the pitch, and it is swung on and missed. Lopez is on a strikeout. Leading off the 3rd inning, that brings up Boyer, who doubled to left, driving in a run in the 1st. So there's 1 out in the top of the 3rd. The score 6-0 in favor of the New York Yankees over Cincinnati. Bill Henry on the mound. Left-hander all set to work is Boyer, batting number 8 in the batting order for New York, steps in. Henry is 33 years old. Born at Alice, Texas, now lives in Houston. 6'2", 180. Here's the pitch coming up to Boyer, and it's wide of the plate for ball 1. This past season with the Reds, Henry had a 2-1 record and a 2.04 earned run average. Here's the next pitch, and there's a high foul going toward the seats outside the right field line, and in the seats going out of play. 1-1 the count to Clete Boyer. This is Henry's 2nd appearance in the series. He pitched 1 inning previously with no hits given up. He was a very effective left-handed stopper this past year for the Reds. He has seen prior service in the big leagues with the Red Sox and the Chicago Cubs before going to Cincinnati. Henry now looks in to get the sign from Edwards with the count ball 1, strike 1 to Boyer. Score 6-0 New York. Here's the pitch, and it is low and in the dirt. The count now is 2 balls and a strike. The Reds have been chipping away. They have 3 base hits, but they've all been of the singles variety. And, of course, the Reds have depended so much on their long ball power throughout the course of the season. Ralph Houck, before the ball game, was rather plentiful in his praise of Mickey Mantle for playing as he has in the series despite the post-operative pain from surgery in his right hip. Here's the pitch coming up to Boyer, inside and high. Mantle is sidelined this afternoon. He just couldn't do it today, but it's a tribute to Mantle that he has been able to see as much action as he has. Running has been obviously painful for him, but like all of these players in the World Series, he has wanted to stay in the lineup if at all possible. Yogi Berra came out reluctantly this afternoon as well. 3-1 to Boyer. All set to go. 1 away, top of the 3rd, nobody on. The 3-1 pitch is wide, and Boyer draws a walk, putting a man on first base with 1 out, and bringing up Ralph Terry, who's been up once and has struck out. The only Yankee batter who is not on the hit column. Terry comes from Oklahoma. So the batter now is Ralph Terry, who comes up with 1 out and 1 on. And the 3rd baseman, Gene Freese, now moves in just a few feet off the infield grass as Terry steps in. Here's the pitch coming up, and it's wide as Terry bluffed a bunt for ball 1. Terry now steps back in with a ball 1 count. Boyer on first base, and the Reds have Freeze moving in now on the infield grass. He starts jogging in toward home plate. Now the pitch is low, and Freeze was breaking toward the plate. Count is ball 2 as Terry now steps out to look down toward the third base coach, Frankie Crosetti. Score of the ball game, 6-0 in favor of the New York Yankees. We're in the third. There's 1 out and 1 on. Terry, the batter, has passed up 2 pitches now. The count has gone to ball 2, and Freeze stays in the infield grass. Terry, who comes from Oklahoma, now resides in the Kansas City area. Here's the pitch coming up, and it's over for a called strike as Terry slid the hand up along the bat but took the pitch. On the count now is ball 2 and strike 1. This past year, Terry had 9 complete games, and he had a pair of shutouts. Ready now for the 2-1 pitch to Ralph Terry. Boyer draws a throw and gets back to the bag. Bill Henry on the mound. He's been the 4th Reds pitcher. We're in the 3rd inning of play. Terry in and waiting. The count now is 2-1. Stretching the pause by Henry. Here's Freeze coming in again. Here's the pitch, and this time it is bunted. And is taken by Henry. The throw is to first base for the out. Blasingame covering at the bag. So the sacrifice goes 1-4 if you're scoring, with Boyer moving on to second. That ball was bunted, but it hopped high in the air, and the only play possible was to first base for the Reds. That brings up Bobby Richardson, who has 1 for 2. Bobby Richardson, who has 1 for 2. And Richardson's next hit, if he attains it during this game, will set a new series mark in hits for a 5-game series, provided, of course, that the series does not continue beyond that. The record for a full set is 12 base hits. Richardson steps in, and the pitch is low and inside for a ball. Ball 1. He followed by Tony Kubek if he gets on. If he gets out, the side will be retired. On second base, Boyer takes his lead. They're 2 away. Yankees scored 5 runs in the first inning with 2 away. They added 1 run in the second inning to lead by a 6-0 score. Ready now for the next pitch coming up to Richardson. A look back by Henry. And here's the pitch to Bobby. It's a strike on the outside corner, called by Ed Runge. Speaking of Ed and all the umpires, Conlon, Umont, Donatelli, Crawford, and Stewart, they've been alert, authoritative, and on every play right here during this World Series, doing a fine job. Richardson with a 1-1 count. Henry all set to work, left-hander. Glances back toward second to Boyer. Richardson waits. Here's the pitch coming up. And there's a ground ball going out to Casco. Takes it near second. Fires to first for the out. So that retires the side with no runs, no hits, no errors, and 1 man left. On the score at the end of 2.5 innings, Yankees 6 and the Reds nothing. Well, we've spoken a lot about Bobby Richardson, haven't we? What a big man he's been for the Yankees. And he's a big booster for Gillette, too. You should hear him praise that Super Blue Blade. Bobby says, never since I started to shave has anything shaved me so smooth and easy. That echoes the feelings of millions. How about you? Give the Gillette Super Blue Blade a try tomorrow. See what a difference the amazing new edges in this blade can make. They're produced by a special Gillette process that nobody has been able to duplicate. And, of course, the Super Blue Blade is double-edged. 2 edges instead of 1, so you get more shaves for your money. Slip a Super Blue Blade into a Gillette adjustable razor and see what I'm talking about. The adjustable lets you choose exactly the shave you want. You shave fast, easy, feel cool, refreshed. Right now, when you buy the adjustable, you get a dispenser of Super Blue Blades plus your free pocketbook World Series encyclopedia, all for just $1.95. Or get Super Blue Blades in dispenser of 10 for 69 cents, 15 for $1. The score of the ball game. At the end of 2.5 innings, New York 6 and Cincinnati nothing. And the totals to this point, 6 runs, 8 hits, no errors for New York. Cincinnati, no runs, 3 hits, and 1 error. And it's Don Blasingame who will lead off in the bottom half of the third. facing Ralph Terry. Here's the pitch, and it's a called strike. The next pitch coming up. Swung on. It's a ground ball to the right of the mound. Into center field. Richardson tried to flag it down and couldn't get it. It's fumbled just a bit by Maris, but he picks it up quickly, throws into second base. And Blasingame is on with a single to center. Leading off the bottom of the third and bringing up Eddie Casco. Casco is a fellow who gets around the infield. In fact, is a freshman with the St. Louis Cardinals under Freddie Hutchinson back in 1957. Eddie made the Sporting News all-rookie team as the third baseman. So here's Casco, who's been up once, is singled. The pitch is a called strike. Strike one to Casco, who is hitting .333. And the Yankees again get the bullpen busy. The next pitch is swung on as a fly ball going into short left field. Lopez is breaking in. He can't get it. Blasingame goes to second base. Casco is on first. Lopez got a late break on that one. Looked as if he took a step back, and then he saw that ball didn't have too much carry and broke in. It landed just a foot or so away from us. It fell to the ground, and Casco was on with his second hit. Blasingame is on second. And the batter is Vada Pinson. That sun is very difficult in left field, making fielding very hazardous. Casco on with a single. Blasingame is on second. Here's Vada Pinson, who's 0 for 1. He's popped up in his one appearance. As the Red fans come to life, the Yankees lead 6-0. There's a fly ball going out to right center field. Blanchard is going back. He's there now, and he makes the catch. The tag up by Blasingame, and he moves from second to third. Pinson is out. Casco stayed at first. Renna and Daly warming up again for New York. And the batter is Frank Robinson. Pinson gave that one a good ride out time. Out to deep right center. Robinson steps in with Blasingame on third. Casco on first to one away. The pitch swung on. It's a fly ball to deep right center field. Blanchard is going back. He's near the fence. Home run! Frank Robinson over the fence in deep right center field. And the score of the ball game, the Yankees 6 and the Reds 3. Ralph Houck has gone out to the mound, and Ralph Terry will be leaving at this point with Bud Daly coming in to take over the pitching. The Reds have had their biggest inning in the series. And after 13 scoreless innings in a row, they have come up with Robinson's 3-run homer, his first home run of this series. Robinson has 4 RBIs, which is tops in the World Series now, with a 3-run blast here in the third, and Ralph Terry is leaving the ball game, walking very slowly toward the dugout. The Yankees are taking no chances at this point, as the Reds have had 3 hits in this inning, and Terry leads. Terry cannot be charged with a loss, but he cannot get credit for a win if the Yankee lead holds up, as he has not pitched the required 5. And now Bud Daly is on the mound. Terry, while he was in there, yielded 6 hits and 3 runs. And all of a sudden, the Reds are very much alive once again. Rennick continues to warm up as Daly, a left-hander, now steps on the scene. Score is 6-3 New York. That was the second home run of the series for the Reds. Coleman had the other. And Robinson, who has been one of the Reds' big hitters all season, has broken loose with his first home run, which was about 20 feet from the 390 sign over toward its right. Going over the fence there, I'd say about 375 or so from the fence out there. Now Bob Perky starts warming up as Coleman steps in to face Daly, and the pitch, a bunt by Coleman along the first baseline. Daly fields it, goes to first. Coleman is safe. Bernie Coleman drags a bunt for a hit. Listen to this crowd. Post steps in with Coleman on first base as he dragged the bunt for a base hit. Beating Daly's throw, Daly went over to field the ball on the first base side. Post the batter. Pitch swung on as a fly ball curving foul outside the left field line. A long strike. Score of the ball game, 6-3. The Yankees are leading. And Sheldon has joined Rennick, joining up in the bullpen, warming up for New York. Perky is warming up for the Reds. The Reds need to keep this game on the win column, have to get it there to stay alive. Perky, slated to pitch the next game, if there was to be a next game, is warming up now. Pitch to post comes in low. On the count now is 1-1. In this inning, the Reds have come up with 3 singles and a 3-run homer. And they have 7 hits. The Yankees have had 8. Daly's pitch swung on. It's a foul back to the right. Going into the seats. And the count now is ball 1, strike 2. Well, as you fans have noted, this year, every year in baseball, you can't anticipate. The unexpected is always around the corner. The Yankees started out this game as if they were just whitewash, steamroller the Reds with 5 quick runs, 1 more in the second. The Reds have now scored 3. The pitch is fouled back out of play. Now is 1-2. Bud Daly, among other pitchers, also throws a knuckleball. Has a good sweeping curveball. 28 years old. And ever since the Reds have come alive, this crowd has kept up a continual din, as you've heard in the background. The 1-2 pitch coming up to post, swung on and lifted high in the air in a very short left. Lopez is coming in, sunglasses on, calling, and has it. So Wally Post is out number 2, and the batter now is Gene Freese, who's run up once and has flied out to center field. 6 runs, 8 hits, and no errors for New York. 3 runs, 7 hits, and 1 error for Cincinnati. Gene Freese. now steps in with Coleman on first. 2 away in the bottom half of the third inning. Freeze, right-handed batter, all set to face Bud Daly. And the first pitch is inside on a curveball, ball 1. Daly comes from California, 6'1", 185. He was 12 and 17 this past year for the Yankees. Next pitch coming up to Freeze. Here it is. And there's a long drive going out toward the scoreboard at deep left center field. Up high against the scoreboard. Coleman on the way to third. He's held up there. Going into second is Freeze with a double. High up against the scoreboard. Gene Freeze has his first World Series hit, an extra base blow. There are runners now for the Reds on third and second. And here is Edwards coming up. Here's Edwards, his single last time up. Men on third and second. The pitch is wide for a ball. Edwards has had 4 hits in this series. Left-handed batter. Yankee bullpen busy. Coleman on third, Freeze on second. They're 2 away. It's a 6-3 ball game. New York leads. Pitch to Edwards. Wide again for ball 2. Both bullpens busy here, as the Reds have come alive in the bottom half of inning number 3, and Edwards, who is up there now, is the 8th man about for them in this inning. Count is ball 2. Coleman on third, Freeze on second, 2 down. Daly starts the windup. Here's the pitch. Inside, ball 3. And, of course, if Edwards gets on, we can look for Freddie Hutchinson to come up with a clutch man off that bench. As the number 9 man, the pitcher is in the next slot. Here's a 3-0 pitch. Strike called. The count now is 3-1. 3-1 to Edwards, who looks down to Reggie Otero, the third base coach, now steps back in. Daly on the mound for New York. Gets the sign now from Howard. Runners on third and second. Here's the 3-1 pitch. There's a pop-up along the third baseline. Foul. Boyer's there and has it. So the side is retired. And in the bottom half of inning number 3, the Reds come up with 3 runs. 5 hits in the inning. There were no errors and 2 are left. And the score at the end of 3 innings of play. New York 6 and the Reds 3. Here are the totals for the first 3 innings of play this afternoon in a thrilling ball game. 6 runs, 8 hits, and no errors for New York. For Cincinnati, 3 runs, 8 hits, and 1 error. And Sheldon and Reniff now go back to sit down. A few moments ago, I ran down the coaches for the New York Yankees with you. Manager Freddie Hutchinson has on his staff, in addition to Sisler and Otero, the first and third base coach we've spoken about, Jim Turner, the pitching coach, Coach Pete Wissenant, and Otis Douglas, their physical training consultant. Now in the 4th inning, it's Kubek, Maris, and Blanchard coming up to face Bill Henry. Henry was slated as the next man up, but we never had a chance to see what Hutchinson had in store along that bench there, as the third out was made with 2 runners left stranded. Kirky, meanwhile, has gone back to sit down. And here is Kubek leading off for New York. Tony is 1 for 2 as he steps up now to lead off the fourth inning. All set to go now as Henry looks in to get the sign from Edwards. Here's the windup. And the pitch. Swung on and fouled by. Roger Maris on deck. Now Henry gets the sign from Edwards. Left-hander's next pitch on the way. Is swung on as a hard hit ball right by the pitcher going to center field. As Kubek is on the leadoff single on the top of the fourth. So he drilled one through the middle. And that brings up Roger Maris, who after flying out to right, sliced a two-base hit just inside the left field line, driving in a run back in the second inning. Kubek becomes the first Yankee to have 2 hits in this game. And here's Maris stepping in. Third baseman Gene Freese has moved in just a bit. Kubek on first, nobody out. We're in the fourth. And here's the pitch coming up. And there's a ball sliced to short left field again. Post is coming in, still moving. He's got it. Maris is out. Quick throw to first base. Comes over on the hop to Coleman, but Kubek is back at the bag. As Maris goes out. There's one out. One on, and here is Blanchard, who is a 2-run homer and has walked. Score of the ball game, 6-3. The Yankees lead Cincinnati. We're in the top of the fourth inning. Johnny Blanchard steps up now. Henry all set to work. There's the stretch and the pause by Henry. A look toward first base to Kubek. Here's the pitch coming up to Blanchard, and he takes low for ball one. Yankees now have 9 hits. The Reds have had 8. 6-3, New York in front. Bill Henry on the mound. Followed Jay, Maloney, and Johnson. Here's the pitch. Swung on. There's a line drive going out to right field. Robinson is racing for it. It's by him. Goes up against the fence on the hop. Kubek's on the way to third. Cressetti holds him up there as the throw comes in. And now Kubek gets back to the bag as Blanchard is in at second with a double. On the batter is Elston Howard, a right-handed batter coming up. So here's Howard, who has also doubled. He's lined out to Freese, stepping up with men on third and second and one out. Blanchard this afternoon has had a 2-run homer and a 2-base hit. The Reds draw the right side of the infield in about 5 or 6 feet, and they're putting Howard on with an intentional walk. And that means that Skowron is coming up. He has singled across a run and has flied deep to center field. It was Skowron who yesterday came up twice after intentional walks have been granted to Berra, and both times hit safely. Skowron yesterday was 3 for 3. Days 1 for 2 with a single and a long fly out. He comes up now with the bases loaded. And the Reds bullpen busy. Score, Yankees 6, Cincinnati 3. Sherm Jones warming up for Cincinnati. And now the infield alignment. Coleman has moved in on the edge of the infield grass. Freese is almost in a line with the base at third. Casco and Blasingame at double play depth. 1 out, 3 on, Skowron the batter. Here's the pitch coming up. Swung on, and there's a base hit to center field. Kubek comes in to score. Blanchard is being waved in. There's the throw from center. It's wide and high. Backed up by Henry behind Edwards. As Blanchard scores on the play, as well as Kubek, of course, who scored from third. And Howard is in at second, and Skowron is on first base with 2 runs batted in. Pinson's throw was a high one, and Henry backed up behind the catcher to prevent further damage on the play. And as you have noted, every time that somebody has been walked intentionally in the series by either side, the following batter has come up with a base hit. Uncanny, but it's true. Here's Lopez, runners on first and second. Yanks lead 8-3. Pitch, called strike. Have you noted that? It's happened every time. Happened 6 times going into this afternoon's ball game. And after Howard was walked, Skowron came up. It's 3 times that Skowron has come through after the preceding batter is walked. The pitch to Lopez is fouled off to the right. Score is 8-3, New York over the Reds. Skowron has 3 runs batted in this afternoon, now has 5 in the series. So he now is atop the roost when it comes to RBIs in this series. Lopez, the batter, is tripled across the run. He is struck out. Howard is on second, Skowron on first. 2 runs across in the 4th. New York leads 8-3 with 11 hits to 8 for Cincinnati. Lopez waits the pitch, and there's a fly ball going out to deep left center field, heading out toward the wall, and it is over the wall for a home run. Here's Howard scoring, Skowron scoring, and here's Lopez scoring with a 3-run homer to the right of that big scoreboard and over the wall near the 383-foot mark and out of the ballpark. And there's Freddie Hutchinson going out to the mound. And Sherm Roadblock Jones, a right-hander, now goes out to the mound. The 5th Reds pitcher this afternoon. The Yankees scored 5 in the first, 1 in the second, and they have added 5 in the 4th. And how often does this happen? That when reserves come in with the regulars incapacitated, that the reserves take over. Blanchard, who is in the outfield this afternoon as a reserve, has had a 2-run homer, a walk, and a double. And Hector Lopez, also off the bench this afternoon in left field, has had a triple driving in 1, a struck out, and now has a 3-run homer. He's had 4 RBIs in this game. He now has 6 to top the series in runs batted in. So, a new pitcher on the mound, and Clete Boyer is coming up. There's still just 1 out in this inning. That was the Maris flyout. And the Yankees, who are putting on an awesome extra base display this afternoon, now hold an 11-3 lead with 12 hits to 8 for Cincinnati. Boyer has doubled, and he is walked. And he faces Jones, the right-hander, as the Reds continue to keep that bullpen busy. Here's the pitch coming up to Boyer, and there's a pop-up. Going for the ball is Edwards in foul territory, and the catcher has it for the out. That means they're 2 down. And this brings up Bud Daly, the pitcher. Bud Daly is coming up. He relieved Terry in the 3rd inning. Daly is a pretty fair hitter, I might add. He swings left. Comes up to face Jones. We're in the 4th. Score 11-3. Here's the windup, and the pitch coming up to Daly. And there's a ground ball to the right of the mound. Moving forward is Blasingame. He fields it, makes a throw to first for the out. And Daly is out to retire the side. So in this 4th inning, here are the totals. The Yankees come up with 5 runs. There were 4 hits. No errors, and nobody left. And the score, the end of 3.5 innings of play. New York 11 and Cincinnati 3. Well, we've seen some great fielding plays in the series. We've seen them by the Yankees, seen them by the Reds. This afternoon we saw a great one by Gene Freese. We've seen them by Clete Boyer, and on and on. Speaking of Clete, he's made some really sensational plays in Yankee Stadium. Sensational. You know, that's a word I've used frequently lately as the only way to describe that new Gillette Power Spray deodorant for men, Right Guard. What a boon this Power Spray feature is. Just touch the nozzle, and in 2 seconds, you have 24-hour protection. Right Guard sprays with the power a man needs. Its fine aerosol mist gets right through to where odor begins, stops it fast. There's no stickiness like old-fashioned creams. No dripping like hit-and-miss squeeze bottle sprays. No gummy roll-on feeling. Right Guard dries on contact, leaves you feeling fresh, cool, and clean. Try Right Guard today, the Power Spray deodorant for men. Now you can save money on Right Guard by buying the new king size for only $1. It also comes in the regular size container for 89 cents. Gurnett is now coming up to bat for Jones. Dick Gurnett, a right-hander, coming up as a pinch hitter here in the bottom half of the fourth inning to bat for Jones. Right-handed batter, didn't have any home runs this past season or 3 base hits, but ended up over the 300 mark with a consistent batting average for Cincinnati. So Dick Gurnett, who is 32 years old, comes from Reading, Pennsylvania, 6'3", 210 pounds, has a degree from Temple University in Philadelphia. All set to go as Daly delivers, and the first pitch is wide for a ball. 11 runs for New York, 3 for Cincinnati. 11-3, we're in the bottom half of the fourth inning, and the fans have seen a lot of action this afternoon. Here's the pitch. That's a called strike and a good curveball. The attendance, you may have suspected, just the same. 32,589. And there's not an empty seat in the house. Here's the pitch, and there's a ground foul outside of third. Count now is ball 1, strike 2 to Gurnett. Fouled by the top of the batting order. Yankees have had 12 hits, and the Reds have had 8 hits in this game. In the Reds' extra base department, Robinson with a home run, Freeze with a double. Here's the pitch, and it's a called strike in the inside corner as Gurnett is out on a strikeout. So there's one down in the bottom half of the fourth, and the batter is Don Blasingame, who is 1 for 2. That's the first strikeout registered against the Reds in this game. Daly all set to work now on Blasingame, a left-handed batter. Here's the windup, on the pitch on the way is over for a called strike. Strike 1 to Don Blasingame. He'll be followed by Eddie Casco. Blasingame's hit last time up was his first of the series. He sends a ground ball going out to Skowron. It goes over, touches the bag for out number 2. And they're now 2 away in the bottom half of the fourth inning as Eddie Casco, who has 2 for 2, now steps in. Casco is hitting .368. He gets a nice hand. He's been playing very well in this series. As the veteran steps up with 2 outs and nobody on. Daly all set to work. Strike. Strike 1 to Casco. And the next pitch is inside for a ball. Bob Perky warming up for Cincinnati. One and 1 pitch coming up to Casco. It's low and a curveball. Count now is 2 balls and a strike. Casco steps out for a moment. Now he's back in. 2 outs, nobody on. Now a set. Daly starts the windup. On the pitch on the way. Swung on. It's a ground ball going out to Boyer. He's up with it. The throw for the out. So Casco on a ground out. And the side is retired in the bottom of the fourth with 3 up and 3 down. The score at the end of 4 innings of play. Yankees 11, Cincinnati 3.
Mays is racing back, still going back, and he makes a beautiful catch over his head.
For my money, one of the greatest catches ever in series play. Let's hear again the actual broadcast of how Willie Mays saved the first game for the Giants.
Vic Wirtz, the Indian first baseman up there now, has a perfect day thus far. The pitch is swung on, and there's a drive going deep out into right center. Mays is racing back, still going back, and he makes a beautiful catch over his head. A beautiful, beautiful catch by Willie Mays.
An astonishing grab. Thrills like this all but come to life in the new Gillette World Series Encyclopedia. Yours free with the purchase of the Gillette Adjustable Razor Set for only $1.95. This 256-page Gillette book is crammed with lively reading, humorous cartoons, and practically every series fact and record. Get yours free with the Gillette adjustable razor and a dispenser of those amazingly easy shaving Super Blue Blades. All for the price of the razor set alone. Just $1.95.
The new pitcher is Bob Perky, and he is the 6th Reds pitcher of the afternoon, which is one away from tying the record for most pitches in one game by one club, held by the Yankees, 7 against Brooklyn on October 5th of 1956. So Bob Perky, who has pitched such fine ball in his previous series appearance, out there now all set to pitch in the 5th inning to Bobby Richardson, who has 1 for 3. Score 11-3 as the 5th inning gets underway. Perky, a right-hander, ready to work. Richardson is singled, flied out, and grounded out. A wind-up. Perky's pitch is over for a called strike. Perky has a good sinker and, of course, an acclaimed knuckleball. Takes the mid off, rubbing up the ball. He was the loser in that 3-2 game in which Maris's home run provided the difference. Here's the pitch coming up to Richardson. He swings, sends a ground ball back to Perky. They throw to first, 1 away. Tony Kubek has 2 for 3. He's flied out, then he's single to left, and he is single to center. That will put Roger Maris on deck. Bob Perky, 32 years old, on the mound, 6'2", 194. Had a 16-12 record this past season. Perky looks in to get the sign out from Edwards. And his pitch to Kubek. Swung on. It's a fly ball going to deep left field to the line. Post is going back, racing toward the line, and makes the catch. Fine play by Wally Post in deep left, just up on the edge of the embankment there, and racing within feet of the line. So Kubek is along out number 2. And with 2 away in the 5th, the batter now is Roger Maris, who has flied to right, double to left, driving in a run, and has flied to left. Maris steps in, 2 outs, nobody on. 11-3, Yankees over the Reds. Here's the windup by Perky, and the pitch. Maris swings, sends a high foul off toward the right, heading toward the seats, and in the seats. Strike 1 to Roger Maris. Strong sun beating down on this very mild, pleasant afternoon. Yankees with a 3-1 lead in the series, leading in this 5th game, 11-3. Maris set. Here's the pitch coming up. He swings and sends a foul back out of play. On the count now is strike 2. 2 strikes to Roger Maris, 2 outs, nobody on. Robinson playing him deep in right field. Coleman, the first baseman, has moved a bit closer to the line behind first base. Now Perky looks in to get the sign. Right-hander all set. Maris waits. Here's the windup and the pitch. And a swing and a miss. Maris is out on a strikeout. So in the 5th, New York goes down in order. No runs, no hits, no errors, and nobody left. And the score at the end of 4.5 innings of play. New York 11, Cincinnati 3. The first half of today's game was brought to you by the Gillette Safety Razor Company. The second half of today's game is brought to you by Chrysler Corporation. There have been many exciting moments for me in the World Series. One big one has been the opportunity to work side by side with one of baseball's greats, the voice of the Cincinnati Reds, Wade Hoyt. Wade?
Thank you, Bob. And Veda Pinson up there now. Veda Pinson leading off in the bottom of the 5th inning. As Bud Daly, the left-hander, makes his pitch. There's a curveball in there. Strike 1. The score at the present time is the New York Yankees, 11 runs, 12 hits, no errors. The Cincinnati Reds, 3 runs, 8 hits, 1 error. Pinson up there now with a count of no balls and 1 strike. Bud Daly comes up, the left-hander pitches. Pinson took up a strike 2 as he moved away from the plate, and he looked at umpire Ed Runge in somewhat surprise. The Yankee infield is playing A little to the right, the third baseman, Boyer, is well off the bag. Kubek, the shortstop, has moved over towards second. Richardson at second base playing a normal second. The next throw. Pinson looped a ball in the right center. It's a base hit for Beta. Beta's going to try for 2 bases, and he is called out at second base as the throw came in there. Maris to Kubek. Maris made a perfect throw in the second. Beta was out trying to take 2 bases on a single to right center. That's Pinson's second hit of the series, by the way. So there's 1 out for the Reds in the 5th inning. The score is the New York Yankees 11, the Cincinnati Reds 3. Robinson is up. He hit the 3-run home run. Back there in the 3rd inning, he took a cut at Daly's curve and he missed. Strike 1. Yes, 11-3, the Yankees are out in front. With Daly in action again, he throws. Robinson hit a high fly ball back of first base. The second baseman Richardson is making an effort. He made the catch down in the bullpen, down in right field. Down in the Yankee bullpen in foul territory, and Robinson becomes the second out in the bottom of the 5th inning. Bring up Gordy Coleman. Coleman has had 1 hit, a bunt single in the 3rd. He's had 1 out of 2 so far today. He's been up the plate 18 times with 5 hits for the series, and he's given a good account of himself. Played very nice ball, this boy. Gordy Coleman batting left-handed as Bud Daly looks him over. As Daly pitches, the throw to Coleman, he batted slowly in the ground down to the first baseman, and it's handed off to Daly. Daly dropped the ball, and the first base umpire, Jocko Conlon, fell down in his original attempt to cover the play. Conlon went to his knees, but Daly dropped the ball anyway. We'll wait the official scorer's decision. And it's charged as an error to Daly, as Skowron fielded the ball, handed off to Daly, and it went as an error for the Yankee pitcher. That is the first Yankee error of the ball game. The score is 11-3. The Yankees are leading. With 2 out on the bottom of the 5th, the Yankees 11 runs, 12 hits. The Cincinnati Reds 3 runs, 9 hits. This is Wally Post up now. He's had 1 hit in 2 turns. Coleman on first. As Daly pitches, Post hit a line foul into the box seats, which may have hit somebody in the box seats down there, but may not have, though. I think it bounced off a railing and into the lap of a spectator. Hector Lopez, the left fielder, is playing him up on the terrace. Maris, the center fielder, playing in left center. And right field, Blanchard is giving Post. It's wide open. Wally hit a ball hard hit, and it's going to be a home run. It hit the top of the screening in left field for Wally Post's first home run of the series and the 6th hit of the series. And 2 runs of scoring for Cincinnati as Coleman is coming around, followed by Wally Post just jogging into the plate. As he crosses the plate with a handshake from Coleman. The score is 11-5 now. This will bring up Gene Freese. The Yankees have 11 runs, 12 hits. The Reds have 5 runs and 10 hits. Gene Freese up there batting against Bud Daly. There is 2 men out. The bottom of the 5th. The pitch to Freese. Freese took a curveball in there. Strike 1. Louis Arroyo, the left-handed relief ace down there in the bullpen for the New York Yankees. Infield deep on Freese now. 2 away in the 5th. As the pitch again made to Freese. Freese took a high one. Brosnan is throwing in the Reds bullpen. 1 ball, 1 strike. So the left-handed Bud Daly ready, pitches. That's a curve around the plate. 2 balls and a strike. 2-1. Two and one on Freese. Daly comes up, fires. Freese took the curve. Strike 2. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Score is 11-5, with the Yankees leading 2 out in the bottom of the 5th here at Crosley Field. Two balls, 2 strikes, 2-2. They pitch now to, that's in there to Freeze, and that's strike 3. Howard dropped the ball. He picked it up, tagged Freeze. Freeze was actually called out on strikes. So in the 5th inning, the Cincinnati Reds scored 2 runs. They had 2 hits in the inning. There was 1 Yankee error, and there was no one left on base. The Reds have 5 runs, 10 hits, 5 men left on. And so at the end of the 5th inning, the score is the New York Yankees 11 and the Cincinnati Reds 5. We'll pause here 30 seconds for station identification.
Are you mixing with the best? Saratoga Vichy with the yellow label, it outsells all the rest. The genuine Vichy with the yellow label
tastes better tonight,
feel better tomorrow. Saratoga with the yellow label.
For true excitement, you can't beat the World Series. For the true excitement of a perfect mixer, you can't beat Saratoga Vichy. WGY, WGFM, Schenectady.
Ball 1, low outside. The score is New York 11, the Cincinnati Reds 5, going into the top of the 6th. It was this fellow Blanchard at the plate who tied the score with a home run off Perky with 2 out in the 8th inning of the 3rd game. Now the pitch to Blanchard. He took it outside again. That's 2 balls with no strikes, 2-0. In this game, Blanchard so far has had a perfect day. He's had a home run in the 1st inning with a man on. He walked in the 2nd, and he doubled in the 4th. So Perky is checking now with his catcher. They're playing Blanchard as a dead right field hitter. Perky swings around. He pitches again. There's a foul ball. That's almost here in the booth, but not quite. 2 balls and 1 strike, 2-1. Of course, the right side of the Reds' infield plays very, very deep on Blanchard. And Robinson in right is back in the terrace. Pinson is not playing too much right center. He's playing more on a dead line from the home plate. Among the 12 hits the Yankees have had today, they've had 5 singles, 4 2-base hits, a triple, and 2 home runs. With Perky working again, the knuckleball broke outside. That's 3 balls and a strike, 3-1. The Yankees scored 5 in the 1st, 1 in the 2nd, and 5 again in the 4th inning, for a total of 11 runs. The Reds have had 6 singles, 7 singles, 2 home runs so far in the ball game, and 1 2-base hit. Perky firing again. There's a pitch outside. He missed outside for ball 4. All right, Blanchard on first base. Batter is Elston Howard. He doubled in the 1st inning. He lined out to Freeze in the 2nd inning, and he was walked intentionally in the 4th inning. Elston Howard batting right-handed, with Perky set to pitch, and he does. And the ball is fouled against the backstop. Strike 1. Every Yankee batter except the starting pitcher Terry and the present pitcher Daly have had hits. So Perky hesitates again. Here he comes. The pitch made. That's low outside. Ball 1, strike 1. 1 of each. The Yanks have had 11 runs, 12 hits. The Reds, 5 runs, 10 hits. Both teams have made errors. 1 error apiece. Perky is the 6th Cincinnati pitcher, you know. 1 more throw. There's a ball grounded down to shortstop, and it went right through the legs of Casco in the left field. Perky is covering at third. The throw is into third base, not in time, as Blanchard came all the way from first to third on the ball that got through the legs of Casco. Casco is charged with an error. He didn't stand there to make the stop. Casco had a shift to his right, and then he went over and got into his set position, but still the ball went through the wicket. The batter is Bill Skowron, who has been devastating in his more recent turns at the plate. He's had 2 hits today, and he's had 3 runs batted in this afternoon, batting right-handed. The pitch now to Skowron is a low one by Perky. Ball 1. Casco generally in this series has played a very excellent ball game. Defensively fine, well at the bat. He's held his end up marvelously. Bill Skowron up there with the count of 1 ball, no strikes. The Yankees leading 11-5 with no one out in the top of the 6th inning. As Perky ready to fire. That's too low. That's ball 2. 2 balls and no strikes. 2-0. 2-0 with Howard standing stationary just a little to the rear of the, Skowron standing stationary just to the rear of the plate. Howard remaining on first is just moving off there, and Blanchard on third is sneaking up now. That's strike 2 as Skowron took a cut at that knuckleball and missed it. 2 balls, 1 strike, 2-1. 2 ball, 1 strike count. Edwards is holding a low target. Perky pitching. Skowron missed, and that is strike 2. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2-2. That may have been a slider. Now Perky throws a slider, a knuckleball, a curve, and a fastball. Now you'd think from my saying so that was quite a compliment or a repertoire of deliveries to throw, but he doesn't throw some of them so often. This fellow's a powerful fellow, this man at bat, Skowron. Very, very solid. With Perky delivering again. There's strike 3. Skowron took a swing and he missed a low breaking ball. Skowron struck out. So Blanchard is still at third. Howard is still at first. And so far in this inning, the infield has been playing back. With the Yankees leading 11-5, the Reds want to cut down the big innings if possible. Although they are trailing by 6 runs. The Yankees leading 11-5 with 1 out in the top of the 6th. Now this is Hector Lopez. This fellow filled the breach all right. He has had a triple and a home run. He's had a 3-run home run and a triple which batted in a run. He's batted in 4 runs today. Batting right-handed, Hector Lopez. The pitch to him, he bunted, and Perky's feeling the ball, throwing it home, and it's a bad throw past the catcher, rolling into the Reds bench. Blanchard has scored, and Howard came around to third, and Lopez went on to second. So it was a push bunt, which had the effect of being a combination squeeze play and attempted base hit. We'll see what. Now it's scored as a sacrifice for Lopez. They didn't give him a hit on it. A fielder's choice and an error by Perky. So Blanchard scored on the sacrifice, and Perky's charged with the error for Lopez eventually reaching second as Perky's throw went by Edwards into the bench. And Boyer, the succeeding batter, is going to be given a base on balls. An intentional. Well, you'll hold that now. Yes, he's being walked purposely. So the score is really 12-5 now. The Yankees leading 12-5. Let's see now what's going to take place here. Daly's going to bat. Daly's going up there to bat for himself. So Howard is on third, Lopez is on second, Boyer is on first. Bud Daly, the last time at bat in the 4th inning, Daly grounded out. Batting left-handed, the infield is still playing back with, that is the second base combination. Casco and Blasingame are back. Perky took a peek at his man on third. He pitches. There's a ball hit out in center, and Pinson faded with it, made the catch. Here comes Howard, making tracks for the home plate. The throw is over toward third, cut off by Casco, and the Yankees are now leading 13-5. So that was a sacrifice fly by Bud Daly to Veda Pinson. Howard scored. Lopez remained at second, and Boyer is at first. The batter is Richardson. Richardson has tied one record today, a minor record of a type, as he singled in the first inning, making 9 hits in a 5-game series if the series ends in 5 games. He could break that if he has another base hit. Now Perky's pitching to him. The right-handed batter popped a foul over near the Yankee bench, and Edwards followed it over, made the catch right near the box seats, and Richardson is out. And so in the 6th inning, the Yankees added 2 runs. There was not a hit in the inning. There were 2 Cincinnati errors, and there were 2 men left on base. And so the Yankees in 6 turns, 13 runs, 12 hits, 6 men left on, and 1 error. And so at the end of 5.5 innings, the score is the New York Yankees 13, the Cincinnati Reds 5.
What's the word on the new Dodge Polara? Action. Live action for 62. This car isn't built for everyone. The Polara 500 is a limited production, full-size Dodge with a high-performance 361 cubic inch engine. You'll know it's special by its distinctive exterior trim and the interior's custom, adjustable bucket seats. Quality workmanship that has made Dodge your guarantee of dependability for years. Like all the 62 Dodges, it's a full-size, people-size car. The Polara 500, one of the new lean breed of Dodge for 62 from Chrysler Corporation.
And they're simply beautiful.
Looks like it's gonna be a Chrysler year.
See the Dodge Polara 500 during October open house.
Going into the bottom of the sixth inning, Johnny Edwards will be the batter. The young man has had one hit and two turns. Jim Brosnan is warming up, and Leo Cardenas is on deck. He will probably pinch hit for Perky, as Freddie Hutchinson is going to throw all his resources in this ball game to try to salvage as much as he can out of it. So this is Johnny Edwards batting. Jim Brosnan is warming up in the bullpen, and if he makes his entry into the game, the pitch now to Edwards is a high curve, ball one. If he makes his entry into the game, that is Brosnan, it will tie a World Series record for most pitches used in one game by one club. The Yankees, 1956 against Brooklyn, used 7 pitches. The ball is hit by Edwards down to the second baseman Richardson, who threw Edwards out at first. One away for the Reds in the bottom of the sixth inning. The Yankees have 13 runs, 12 hits, 1 error. The Cincinnati Reds, 5 runs, 10 hits, and 3 errors. And Leo Cardenas is batting for Perky. Cardenas batting for Perky. He's been up twice in this series with 1 hit, a long double that he hit off the scoreboard the other afternoon. Cardenas batting right-handed against Daly, and Cardenas takes a low curve inside. Another pitch to Leo is inside low. Ball 2, 2-0. As Daly in action again, pitches. There's a high fly ball in left center. Maris and Lopez have started for the ball. Lopez indicates he'll try it. He made the catch, and Cardenas is the second out for Cincinnati in the bottom of the sixth inning. No one on base. The Yankees leading 13-5. The Yankees have 13 runs, 12 hits, and 1 error. The Cincinnati Reds, 5 runs, 10 hits, and 3 errors. Don Blasingame coming up. He's had 1 hit in 3 turns so far. Blasingame had a single in the third inning, single to center. But that was off starting pitcher Terry. The pitch now to Blasingame. He hit foul back in the net. Strike 1. No balls, 1 strike. Bottom of the sixth, 2 out. Left fielder Lopez doesn't play Blasingame too deeply now. And even with the 8-run lead, the third baseman's playing in. Now the curveball is high. 1 ball, 1 strike. Boyer is still playing in front of third. The Yankees are leading by 8 runs. 13-5. 2 out in the sixth. Daly delivers again. Blasingame missed the curve, and that's 2 strikes. 1 ball, 2 strikes. But Daly delivers. That's strike 3 as he hooked the curve in there, and Blasingame looked at it for the 3rd strike. And so in the 6th inning, Cincinnati no on the base. They have 5 runs, 10 hits, and 5 men left on to show for 6 turns at bat. And so at the end of the 6th inning, the score is the New York Yankees 13, the Cincinnati Reds 5. We'll pause 30 seconds for station identification.
Are you mixing with the best? Saratoga Vichy with the yellow label, it outsells all the rest. The genuine Vichy with the yellow label
tastes better tonight.
Feel better tomorrow. Saratoga with the yellow label.
It's a hit in any man's league. That's Saratoga Vichy. Look for the yellow label that marks the champion. Saratoga Vichy, WGY, WGFM, Schenectady.
The first pitch now by Jim Brosnan to Tony Kubek. He hit into the grandstand down there beyond third base. A strike 1. Brosnan becomes the 7th pitcher for the Cincinnati Reds, which ties the World Series record. He's throwing there to Quebec. He hit a fly ball into center, and Pinson is loping in, just trotting in under it. Has it, and there is one away. Roger Maris coming up now. Roger Maris flied out to right in the first. He doubled to left in the second, then flied out to left in the fourth, and he struck out in the fifth. So he's had 1 out of 4 for the day. As Brosnan ready to work. He pitched there now to Maris. He hit a long foul over the grandstand down there in right field. Back in 1956, the Yankees used 7 pitchers against the Brooklyn Dodgers. Strangely, in that game, Brooklyn won that game 13-8. There's a foul hit by Maris against the backstop. Score here is 13-5 with the Yankees leading the Reds. Throw to the plate, strike 3 as Brosnan struck Maris out with a change of pace pitch on the outside edge. 2 away now for the Yankees in the 7th inning. The Yankees, however, are leading 13-5. The Yankees have had 13 runs and 12 hits. The pitch to Blanchard is a high inside pitch. Ball 1. The Yankees have had 13 runs, 12 hits, and 1 error. The Reds 5 runs, 10 hits, and 3 errors. Brosnan swoops around. The right-hander let loose. Blanchard, he hit down and toward first, and Coleman knocked the ball down, cutting in front of Blasingame. And we'll wait the official score's decision on that one, as it looked as though it were going to be fielded without much trouble. But Coleman, in his eagerness to make the stop, cut in front of Blasingame and merely succeeded in knocking the ball down. That goes as a base hit for Blanchard. That's 3 hits for Blanchard today, plus 2 bases on balls. So he's had a perfect afternoon so far. The batter is Elston Howard. He's been on base 3 times. The pitch to Howard, the right-handed batter took outside. Ball 1. Howard doubled in the first, lined out in the second, walked intentionally in the fourth. He was on through an error in the 6th. And Blanchard, who was on first, has had 2 bases on balls, a double, and a 2-run home run. Pitch to Howard. Howard's cracked a single in the center field. Blanchard stopped at second. So there are 2 on now, 2 away, and 2 on for the Yankees in the 7th inning. The Yankees are leading 13-5, and that was the 14th hit by the Yankees. The Yankees have 13 runs and 14 hits. The Reds 5 runs and 10 hits. Bill Skowron up now. He takes Brosnan's first pitch low. Ball 1. 1 ball, no strikes. 1 ball, no strikes. With Brosnan working again, he pitches. There's a ball hit high in the air out there to the left fielder. Post is shading his eyes, moving in. Has it, then the side is retired. And so in the 7th inning, the Yankees did not score. No runs, 2 hits, 2 left. In 7 turns at bat, the Yankees 13 runs, 14 hits, 8 men left on and an error. And so at the end of 6 1/2 innings, the score is the New York Yankees 13, the Cincinnati Reds 5. Here at Crosley Field in Cincinnati in the 5th game of the World Series, into the bottom of the 7th inning with the New York Yankees leading the Cincinnati Reds 13-5. And the first batter for the Reds in the bottom of the 7th inning as the game draws to the final stages is Eddie Casco. Eddie Casco has had 2 hits in 3 turns. As Bud Daly, the left-hander who came in the game in the 3rd inning, is pitching now to Casco. Hit a fly ball out there in left field. Hector Lopez cutting over to the line up on the terrace. Under it, has it, and it was just a fair ball, but it was caught by Lopez. About 2 feet fair up on the terrace or the incline in left field. 1 away for the Reds in the 7th inning with Vader Pinson up. Pinson has had 1 hit in 3 turns. He had a single in the 5th inning, and he was out trying to stretch it to a double. So Daly is pitching to Pinson. Pinson took a low one. Ball 1. 1 ball, no strikes. Daly's taking his signals, standing there stationary. Here he goes. He's pitching. There's a ball hit by Pinson in the short right, and Blanchard galloped in and caught the ball. Made an ankle-high, one-handed catch. Didn't think he was going to catch that at first. The sun delayed him a little bit. He didn't get a good peek at the ball once he started in, but then he accelerated, came in, picked it off about ankle-high, and Pinson is out. 2 away for the Reds in the 7th inning. The Yankees have 13 runs and 14 hits. The Reds 5 runs and 10 hits. Robinson up. Robinson dodged a high one inside. Ball 1. Robinson has had a 3-run home run in the 3rd inning. He hit one into the right center field seats with 2 men on base. Robinson hit a line drive. Fair. The third baseman nicked the ball. There goes Robinson on for 2 bases. Boyer took a dive at the ball. It hit his glove in fair territory, and it's considered a fair ball. And Robinson has a double. It landed foul. I guess I should have told you because it perhaps confused you a bit by saying it was fair immediately. But you see, it was a line drive, and Blanchard leaped at the ball, and it ticked his glove. Boyer ticked the ball with his glove, and the ball continued on without hardly losing any speed. And it landed foul, but you see, Boyer was in fair territory when he hit the ball with his glove, and that's a fair ball. So Robinson went on for a 2-base hit. Now the batter is Gordy Coleman, 2 men out in the 7th inning. Coleman is a rather peculiar batter in a way. He'll fall away from some pitches, and then you give him the same thing over again, and he's liable to hit it over the center field fence, which he has done on a number of occasions. Daly taking the signals, standing there stationary in the mound, standing sideways. Now he's ready to pitch. He throws. Coleman batted a bouncing ball down to the second baseman. Richardson fielded the ball and threw Gordy out at first base. And so in the 7th inning, the bottom of it, the Cincinnati Reds, no runs, 1 hit, and a man left. In 7 turns, Cincinnati 5 runs, 11 hits, 6 men left on base. And so at the end of the 7th inning, the score is the New York Yankees 13, the Cincinnati Reds 5.
There's a new lean breed of cars this year, Dodge Dart for 62. Every pound is live weight. Dead weight is out. This year's automatic transmission, for example, is 60 pounds lighter. It's made of aluminum alloy, stronger but lighter and more compact. It takes inches off the transmission hump for more legroom. Full size and people size, that's Dodge. For easier handling, there's a new low-friction steering gear. Even without power steering, your new Dodge Dart will drive as if you had it. Your new Dodge has self-adjusting brakes, goes 32,000 miles before it needs a grease job, goes twice as far between oil changes as it did last year. Dodge for 62 from Chrysler Corporation.
Looks like it's gonna be a Chrysler year.
See your Dodge dealer during October open house.
The 8th inning coming up here at Crosley Field with the Yankees leading the Reds 13-5. So Hector Lopez will be leading off in the 8th. Jay Hook is beginning to warm up down in the Reds bullpen as Brosnan now pitches to Lopez inside, ball 1. Another pitch to Lopez. That's low. That's ball 2, as Brosnan wasn't very long between pitches. And 2 balls and no strikes. 2 balls, no strikes with Brosnan firing again. Ball hit the bat, bounced down on the ground to the shortstop. Casco grabbed it, threw it. Lopez is out at first. He half hit that ball. He tried to retract his bat, but his bat came out in front of the plate and hit the ball not very solidly down to Casco. 1 away for the Yankees in the top of the 8th inning. The Yankees with 13 runs and 14 hits and 1 error. The Reds with 5 runs, 11 hits, and 3 errors. Clete Boyer up now. Boyer has had a double with a run batted in. He walked twice and he fouled out once, batting right-handed. The pitch to Boyer. There's a ball hit for a single in the center field. That's his 2nd hit of the game. And the Yankees' 15th of this game. So the Yankees are mounting those hits. They have 13 runs and 15 hits. So it's Boyer on first base, 1 out in the top of the 8th inning, and the batter is Bud Daly. Daly grounded out in the 4th inning, and he drove in a run with a sacrifice fly in the 6th inning. There's a bunt, a high bunt to Freeze. Freeze is fielding the ball, throwing the first to Blasingame. And Daly is out. There are 2 away now. That sacrifice went from the 3rd baseman to the 2nd baseman, or otherwise Freeze to Blasingame, putting Boyer on 2nd with 2 out on the top of the 8th. The Yankees are leading 13-5. The Yankees with 13 runs and 15 hits and 1 error. The Reds 5 runs, 11 hits, 3 errors. Richardson up there. This may be his last chance to crack a 5-game record in the World Series. He's had 1 hit in this game so far. The pitch to him missed outside, ball 1. He's been up 5 times in this game with 1 hit. He had a single the first time up. He started all that woe for the Reds in the 1st inning. Ball grounded. It's hit down to Casco, fielded the ball, threw it to first, and Richardson is out at first. And the Yankees are out in the 8th inning. In the 8th inning, the Yankees no runs, a hit, and a man left on. In 8 turns, the Yankees 13 runs, 15 hits, 9 men left on. And so at the end of 7.5 innings, the score is the New York Yankees 13 and the Cincinnati Reds 5.
You know, the only thing more exciting than the World Series is your first look at the new cars. And this year, Chrysler Corporation makes it more exciting than ever. 180 brand new cars are offered free during October open house. One of them could be yours. 30 Imperials, 30 Chryslers, 30 Dodge Darts, 30 Lancers, 30 Plymouths, and 30 Valiants. If you own a car, any make or model, any year, all you have to do to qualify is stop in and register with any authorized Plymouth, Valiant, Dodge, Lancer, Chrysler, or Imperial dealer. But this is important. You must register during October open house, and that ends October 31st. Why not see your dealer tonight? Free car offer void in Nebraska, Wisconsin, Florida, Canada, and wherever else prohibited by law.
As we go into the bottom of the 8th inning, it will be Wally Post. And Post, who has upheld his end of the World Series for the Cincinnati Reds gloriously. He has been to the plate in this series 18 times, and he has had 6 hits. The last time he was at bat, he had a 2-run home run. So Wally Post leading off for the Reds in the bottom of the 8th, and the Reds trailing by 8 runs. The Yankees are leading the Reds 13-5. Wally Post batting against Daly. So the Yankees switch a bit to the left as Daly pitching to Post. Post hit a ball with one hand. He hit it foul. He hit it in the upper deck down there in left field. No balls, 1 strike. Wally hit that with one hand. He does that quite a lot. The left hand slips off the bat and he comes through with the right.
Bobby Richardson tied a record for a 5-game series with 9 hits. The record he tied is held for the win.
So Daly in action again. Pitches, and that was inside. Post went to the ground, hit by a pitched ball. So while he was hit by the curve, it was not a pitch thrown at him. He just couldn't get out of the way of the ball. Post is on first base. Gene Freeze batting. Freeze had a double in the 3rd inning. The Yankees are leading 13-5 with no one out in the bottom of the 8th. The pitch to Freeze. Freeze hit a high fly ball up in left center. Maris and Lopez both started after it. Maris caught the ball in front of Lopez, and there was 1 out for the Reds in the 8th inning. Johnny Edwards batting. Edwards has had 1 hit in 3 turns. So Bud Daly pauses. Now he pitches. The curve is hit in the ground. Hit down to Skowron, who played the ball to second. To Kubek, 1 out there just to force out of Post at second. Skowron to Kubek. 2 away for the Reds in the 8th inning. So Post was forced at second. Edwards on first. Jerry Lynch. Jerry Lynch will bat for Brosnan.
Jerry, the Reds' glorious pinch hitter, I might say, during the series, during the season, he was tremendous. Daly's pitch to Lynch. Lynch took a swing at the curve and he missed. Strike 1. In the Cincinnati 9th position, there has not been one pitcher who batted today. There have been 4 pinch hitters: Bell, Gurnett, Cardenas, and now Lynch. 1 strike. Daly fires again. Lynch took the curve low outside. Edwards on first base, 2 away in the 8th. This is the bottom of the 8th inning, 2 out, and the Yankees have 13 runs and 15 hits. The Reds, 5 runs, 11 hits. Lynch hit the ball on the ground. He hit it down to Richardson. Richardson played the ball to first base. Lynch is out at first, and the Reds are out in the 8th inning. In the 8th inning, Cincinnati, no runs, no hits, 1 man left on, and they have 5 runs, 11 hits, 7 men left on. And at the end of the 8th inning, the score is the New York Yankees 13, the Cincinnati Reds 5. We'll pause here 30 seconds for station identification.
Windshields at times get hot enough to fry an egg, at other times cold enough to deep freeze rubber. Your wiper blades must be ready hot or cold to give you clear, safe vision of the road ahead. Constant ANCO research has fortified ANCO rubber for such service far beyond all competition. Stop for ANCO blades or refills at any of the more than 125,000 service stations displaying the familiar Anderson's bright yellow ANCO service cabinet.
WNBC, AM and FM, New York.
Ken Hunt, H-U-N-T, is pitching for the Cincinnati Reds, and this breaks a World Series record, as this is the 8th pitcher to be used by one club in one game. The record was formerly held, an unenviable record, I would judge, by the New York Yankees themselves back in 1956, when they used 7 pitchers against the Brooklyn Dodgers. The score now 13-5 as the ball pitched to Quebec. Quebec bounced the ball to Blasingame, who threw him out at first base. That was just a routine bouncer. In fact, a two bouncer, a high hopper to Blasingame. 1 up, 1 away in the top of the 9th inning. Ken Hunt pitching. Roger Maris up now. Roger Maris has had 1 hit in 5 turns today, a double in the 2nd inning. The pitch to Maris. Maris took a curve around the plate. Ball 1. 1 ball, no strikes, 1-0. Hunt's a big fellow, tall. Hunt was born in Ogden, Utah. He fires. The curveball missed outside. 2 balls and no strikes. 2-0. Hunt winds and fires. That's a low one, and that is ball 3. 3 balls and no strikes. And that's ball 4 as Maris stood there, took it, and took a base on balls. Johnny Blanchard coming up now. Maris on first. Strangely, this tale in this World Series so far has been actually a tale of reserve strength, as Mantle saw very little action. Maris went to bat 19 times with 2 hits. Berra's activities were curtailed. The pitch now to Johnny Blanchard, outside low, and this fellow at the plate came, a catcher by trade, came in to fill in the most tremendous way. Today he's had a single, a double, and a home run and 2 bases on balls. A single, a double, and a home run and 2 bases on balls for Johnny Blanchard today. Pitch to plate. There's a ball hit off the glove of the pitcher, who picked it up, whipped it to first, and Blanchard is out at first. It was a line drive that Hunt knocked down. It rolled in front of him and over toward the third base line, but he quickly retrieved it and threw Blanchard out at first. Maris advanced to second, and Maris was on second with 2 away in the top of the 9th inning with Elston Howard batting. Howard has had a single, a double, a base on balls. He lined out, and again he was on. Another time he was walked purposely. Correction there. He was walked once, and he was on to an error. Batting right-handed, Elston Howard. 2 away in the top of the 9th inning. The pitch to Howard is a curve in there. Strike 1. Howard missed, and that's strike 2. No balls, 2 strikes. Nothing in 2 on this right-handed batter. Turns that left side in, keeps pumping that bat. Reds play him straight away, infield back and pretty widely spread. No balls, 2 strikes, so Hunt's in action again. Now he pitches. That's in there for strike 3 as Howard took the curveball over the plate for the 3rd strike. And so, in the 9th inning, the New York Yankees, no runs, no hits, the man left on. The Yankees, 13 runs, 15 hits, 10 men left on base. So at the end of 8.5 innings, the score is the New York Yankees 13 and the Cincinnati Reds 5.
Don't miss your chance to win a brand new 62 Chrysler Corporation car. Stop in at your dealers now and sign up to win one during October open house. Plymouths, Valiants, Dodge Darts, Lancers, Chryslers, Imperials. 180 brand new cars are offered free, and one of them may be yours. If you own a car, any make or model, any year, all you have to do to qualify is come in, see the complete rules, and register with any authorized dealer who sells Plymouth, Valiant, Dodge, Lancer, Chrysler, or Imperial. That's all there is to it, and you may win one of 180 beautiful 1962 Chrysler Corporation cars. But be sure to register at your dealers by October 31st. You can't win unless you do. Free car offer void in Nebraska, Wisconsin, Florida, Canada, and wherever else prohibited by law.
Looks like it's gonna be a Chrysler year.
Well, we have a defensive change for the New York Yankees. Roger Maris has moved to right field for the 9th inning. Roger Maris has moved to right field, and Jack Reed, R-E-E-D, Jack Reed, is playing center field in the 9th inning. And Elio Chacon is going to bat for Blasingame. Chacon batting for Blasingame. So Chacon batting for Blasingame against Bud Daly. Pitch to Chacon inside, ball 1. Chacon is batting .273 for the series so far. The score is 13-5. The Yankees leading the bottom of the 9th. There's a foul hit back into the upper deck. Chacon has had a very nice series. The times and games that he has been in there, he's played very well for the Reds. One ball, 1 strike, 1-1. And Bud Daly fires again. The ball is batted slowly to the shortstop. Kubek fielded the ball, through to first. Chacon is up and out. 1 away in the 9th inning for the Cincinnati Reds. The New York Yankees are leading 13-5. Eddie Casco has had 2 hits in 4 turns at bat today, and 7 and 21 for the series is up there. He's had 7 hits and 21 turns at bat during the series. Stu Eddie's in there for strike one call. Call, strike. Daly fires again. There's a high fly ball hit up in right. Richardson is going back, and in comes Maris. Maris yelled him off, but he made the catch himself, and Casco is out. So the New York Yankees are 1 out away from becoming the 1961 World Champions. Vader Pinson is the batter. Vader Pinson batting. As Daly makes his pitch to Pinson, the ball hit the bat, flew out there in left field. In comes Lopez, made the catch. The game is over. The Yankees are champions of the world for the season of 1961. In the last inning, the Reds went down 1-2-3. Bud Daly is being patted on the back down there by his teammates, who all rushed him when he came off the mound, giving him a big whack on the back. The score then was the New York Yankees 13 runs, 15 hits, 1 error. The Cincinnati Reds 5 runs, 11 hits, and 3 errors. And this is Wade Hoyt about to bid you good afternoon and thank you a great deal for your courtesy and attention during this series. And now the highlights by Bob.
Thank you, Wade. Well, the New York Yankees are the world champions once again, winning the series 4-1. And the Yankees 15 hits this afternoon, included a barrage of 2 home runs, 1 triple, 4 doubles, and 8 singles. And Cincinnati coming up with 11 hits, which included 2 home runs. This incidentally accounted for all their runs, the 2 homers, and they also had 2 doubles. The totals in the ball game: 13 runs, 15 hits, 1 error for New York. For Cincinnati, 5 runs, 11 hits, and 3 errors. And the winning pitcher was Bud Daly. The losing pitcher was Joey J. The Yankees once again showed their great reserve strength this afternoon as 2 replacements today, Blanchard and Lopez, going in the outfield to replace Yogi Berra, and Mickey Mantle came up with superb performances. Blanchard had a 2-run homer and also 2 other hits, and Lopez had a triple and also a 3-run homer and had 5 RBIs. He led the series with 7 runs batted in. So the story this afternoon is the Reds tried vainly to stop the New York Yankees, and they used 8 pitches, a series record in the game in the bargain. And now, let's join Mel Allen and some of the victorious New York Yankees. Take over, Mel Allen.
Switch cap. The world title for the 19th time in 26 World Series that they have participated in 58 played. And here is a fellow that had to tie a record. A rookie manager who won a pennant and a world championship in his freshman year in the majors, Ralph Houck, as nice a guy as ball players have ever said nice things about.
Well, thank you very much, Mel, but I want to give all the credit to the players and the coaches and to the owners. I think everybody had a great year, and those boys that played that game are the ones that are responsible for any success we've had.
Ralph, what did you believe might have been the turning point of this whole series?
Well, I think when we went 1 game ahead of them, that was a big turning point, and then when we got the last man out today, they had a good ball club, and it was a hard-fought series.
At what point were you concerned, beyond the fact that Mickey Mantle was injured and out?
Well, of course, I was concerned today because of the injuries to Mantle and to Berra, but I guess I got a little more concerned when Robinson's ball went in the seats today.
Well, Ralph Terry has had some tough luck. He's been a great pitcher for you. He won 16. He lost 3. and yet he has never won a World Series game.
Well, I hope that he gets the opportunity to win a lot of them before he's through pitching, and I think he will. He's a great pitcher.
Who would you single out for? I know you hate to single out anybody. You like them all. But,
Mr. Webb.
Mr. Webb, who would you single out on your team for special accolade?
I really, Mel, I just couldn't. I think they were all great, and every one of them played their part in winning this thing.
It was the team effort.
Without a doubt.
One story, Mickey Mantle trying to get into the ball game yesterday, the day before, and I had heard that before, when he heard that Berra was to be out today, that even though the wound had opened, did he say anything to you?
Well, I think he would have played, but I just didn't have that much nerve to put him in the lineup in the shape he was in.
Well, congratulations to you, Ralph.
Thank you very much, Mel.
And Del Webb, co-owner of the New York Yankees. Congratulations, sir.
Thank you. The skipper did a great job, didn't he?
He certainly did. I want to say this about Ralph Houck. I have never seen a team that was as happy as they have been. They made a remark to you on one occasion after you'd won the pennant. In fact, it was Mantle who said it to you. If you'll recall, in the clubhouse, we were there covering it. He said, Ralph, I have never been on a ball club where I've seen everybody so happy there hadn't been the slightest squabble. That's a tribute to you.
We did have a great year, and the players are all great, and the coaches and the owners and Mr. Hamey, everybody we had a real good year, Mel. It was a great year for me, no question about it.
The Cincinnati pitching was extremely rough in those earlier games, wasn't it?
They certainly were. I mean, we sure never had anything for granted the whole series. That's
the question being that sometimes people wonder, hitting bad is pitching good. And same thing was asked of Freddie Hutchinson. He said, well, we're not hitting. But then on the other hand, you might have thought your pitching was good.
Well, you got to give the fella credit that gets him out, I think.
And who do you think was the toughest pitcher that might have faced the Yankees?
Well, all three of their starting pitchers were real rough for us. O'Toole and Perky and Jay all pitched very well against us, Mel, very well.
And the old meal ticket, Whitey Ford, came through.
Well, they never scored a run off of him, so he must have done a great job.
Well, thanks a lot, Ralph Houck. Let's get here Johnny Blanchard. Here's a guy that Ralph Houck put into ball games and said he ought to be playing somewhere, either in the outfield or back of the plate.
You did a great job. I'm going to leave you here.
Thank you,
Congratulations.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Fine. Thank you. I just want to say one thing. I think our youth program paid off.
The youth program paid off. Johnny Blanchard this year hit 4 pinch hit homers. On one occasion at 2 in a row, and your first game after that, you hit 2 home runs, first 2 times up. Then you were a guy that was lost in the headlines when you hit the pinch hit homer in the first game here that tied the score because Maris hit the homer that won it. Did that bother you much at all, John?
No. As long as we won the ball game, I was happy to kind of root for Roger, really. I was happy I hit mine, but gosh knows, mine only tied. His won. His put us ahead.
Well, you must have felt a little something about it because you came right back the first inning today to belt one to show them that you could do it more than once.
Oh, I was glad about that, believe me. That's the greatest day, the greatest thrill I've ever had right there. Oh, gee, Mel, I'm telling you, can't put into words how good you feel about it.
Well, now you can go home and call up your wife long distance.
So I'm going to go home and see her by plane.
All right. Wonderful. Where is Freddie? Here, Elston Howard, a fellow who handled the Yankee pitchers, had one of the great years, batting close to .350 all year. Ellie, did you ever feel at any time this series a little bit concerned about its outcome? You know, the first few games were really rugged.
No, Mel, I never felt any doubt.
Freddie! Excuse me, I want to follow on. Freddie Hutchinson. Fred, please come here. Great guy. You go ahead and talk while Fred comes over.
No, well, I never did have any doubt, Mel. I thought we had a better ball club, but you have to realize that Cincinnati won the National League pennant and we won the American League pennant, so a lot of people said that we should walk away with them, but I feel it was very good baseball, and thank God that we won the series.
Here, ladies and gentlemen, a guy that has played the greatest sportsmanship, which is typical of him, Freddie Hutchinson, who, like Ralph Houck, there were two guys that had the greatest respect to their ball players. I've never known two managers where the ball players loved as much as they did you two and gave you every bit of effort all the way. Fred, of course, it's tough. Somebody had to lose it. But your guys, even when they got behind, they scrapped.
Well, they did that, Mel. They did it all year. They played well, and I guess they didn't like me too well in the series. We didn't score enough runs.
Did you think there was any particular turning point in the series or any special thing that might have happened? For example, both center fielders were exciting ball players, but they were hurt. And I know Veda was hurt, but you wouldn't alibi that. But still in all...
Well, of course, Mel, I think that game that Perky pitched hurt us. He pitched a fine ball game, and they hit the home run that beat us, and I think that probably hurt us more than anything else because we played very well up until that time.
Well, I'll say one thing. You had a ball club that proved today that it was a championship team because even when they were behind 6-0, they kept coming back, kept trying to come back, and even they got further behind. They didn't quit, and that is a tribute to you as a manager.
Well, thank you, Mel. It's been a nice series. I've enjoyed it. Just sorry that we couldn't have done a little better here today and maybe won it.
Well,
we'll see you.
There'll be other chances, Freddie. Thanks a lot, Ellie.
Yeah, you're welcome.
I want one question about Whitey Ford, who pitched so beautifully that first. Which game do you think was the best pitchman by a Yankee pitcher?
Well, I think the one that Whitey pitched by far, Mel, was the best game.
Yeah, the opening game.
Yeah, he had all his pitches working, and everything was real well. And the second game he pitched the other day, he had just a bit of stuff, but unfortunately he hurt his ankle, and he fouled off another pitch, hit him on the ankle. That's why he had to come out of the ball game.
Ralph Terry today wasn't quite as sharp, or is it just a case of maybe not taking a chance?
Wasn't quite as sharp, but I mean, that's a few mistakes we made today. And, with his fastball.
Well, one ball in that inning.
Frank Robbins went pitching real well, and fortunately he hit a home run today.
Well, you know they're going to do that, and you will too.
Hitter. That's right. He's a very good hitter. You have to realize that.
Thanks a lot, Elston Howard.
Thank you.
And here's the man we're talking about, Whitey Ford, who this World Series pitched his third consecutive World Series shutout. Then yesterday went 5 more innings to break a record held by Babe Ruth, when he was the pitcher, of 29 2/3 consecutive scoreless innings. And Whitey went 32, and then in the 6th inning he had to go out.
Yeah, still got a sore toe though, Mel. Just hope I can get out and play golf tomorrow though.
Whitey, they tell me that you didn't feel particularly excited about the fact that you had put your name in the record book in place of the Babe when he was a pitcher. Well, is that true or not?
Not at the time it happened. It was nothing, Mel. And I sort of got a bigger thrill out of it after the game in the dressing room here when we won the game. But at the time, we hadn't scored a run yet, and I didn't get as big a thrill out of it as I did later on.
Who were the toughest men that you had to face on that Cincinnati club, do you think?
Well, it's funny. Gene Freeze, he didn't get a hit off of me, but I thought him and Casco had as good a swings at me as anybody else on their team.
Well, Whitey, congratulations to you on having also won more World Series games than anybody else in history. What, 9?
Yes.
And total starts, which totals what now, 16?
Something like that.
Yeah. Congratulations to you. And there's so many others here, and everybody's milling about that we don't have time to get them all on. We'd like to thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for having looked in on this World Series. I hope you fans have enjoyed hearing from these very happy New York Yankees.
There's the story from the clubhouse. And here at Crosley Field, the folks are filing out after this final game of the series, as New York has won the series 4-1. And they have now won their 19th World Championship. And the final score, once again, 13-5 in favor of New York. Our engineer, Harry Alexander. Our producer, Len Dillon. That wraps up the 1961 World Series. Be with us again December 30th for the Blue-Gray football game, when your hosts, as today, again will be the Chrysler Corporation, where engineering puts something extra into every car, and the Gillette Safety Razor Company, world leader in shaving.
Now this is Bob Wolf speaking for Wade Hoyt, saying good afternoon from Crosley Field in Cincinnati. This has been an NBC Radio Network production.